Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. Today's March 16th, 2023, and we're going to be diving into Batman, the darkest hour, if you will. Affleck opens up about his thoughts during the Justice League reshoots and how playing the Caped Crusader nearly fucking killed him. We're going to be talking about that. A potentiality of a long version of Avatar 3, James Gunn harassed by Snyder fans, Snyder trolling more people. Folks, it's a show. Let's fucking go! Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. It is, of course, Hollywood After Dark. It is March 16th, 2023, and as always, it's a day ending in Y, which means there's always stuff to talk about. Big, small, here, there, near, far. It's movies. There's entertainment coverage happening across the globe, and largely we focus on a lot of the tentpole things. It's not going to be any different than that. It is a situation that requires actually a little bit of finesse while talking about it. And obviously, it is the Ben Affleck situation, which we're going to get to here in a little bit, but I just want to say that, look, the title and thumbnail might be a little bit clicky, but it's true. He was going through a dark time during then, and he kind of opened up a bit more about it, and we're going to learn a bit more about it, and I think we're going to have a very interesting conversation about how to respond now to Snyder fans, especially following this announcement, following this reveal from Ben Affleck in regards to James Gunn, and the news about Shazam! Fury of the Gods that now has Snyder Bros attacking James Gunn and his wife once again. Folks, the battle never ends. The battle never ends. Because one person, the person in charge of the Snyder fans, Zack Snyder himself, refuses to say anything. And I'm just really tired of that. I really am tired of that. I really wish he would say something. And maybe one day he'll finally, nut up and actually do it. But in the meantime, innocent people are going to be harassed as a result of not being Zack Snyder. And it's wild, folks. It's absolutely wild. But let me look at the chat here real quick. All right, Mr. Toker says, why do you always put it at 9:55 and then change it 2 times? I never understand your process. Well, for one, I set it to 9:55 and I was only 2 minutes late. I didn't set it at all. The process with that, to some extent, is I set it for a time. I try to get it at that time. There's times I'm not able to get there. Tonight, I didn't build a PowerPoint tonight. I just have articles brought up ready to go. It is professionalism getting in the way of, quite frankly, everything else. And that's the unfortunate part of that. But no, it's not on purpose. It just kind of happens that way. Let's see. We do got a $5 super from Marcus here. Thank you. It says, Affleck groped a woman against their will and protected Harvey Weinstein. I have no pity for him. Yeah, no, I read your comment earlier today saying that Ben Affleck should have committed suicide while playing Batman. I completely disagree with that. He has acknowledged that he made mistakes back in the day. In fact, it wasn't Ben Affleck that protected Harvey Weinstein. You're thinking of Matt Damon is the one who largely came out back in 2017 and had kind of protected I don't want to say protected, but didn't speak effectively in the way that a lot of people liked. Matt Damon kind of put his foot in his mouth. If I recall, that's the situation. It wasn't Ben Affleck. That being said, Ben Affleck having a drinking problem, suffering with depression and a bunch of other shit is exactly why AFSP exists. And you saying that you think he should have killed himself, I think is that's kind of fucking lame, dude. I appreciate the $5. I appreciate you being a patron. I do appreciate you watching, but I'm not going to sit there and just look the other way while you make a comment like that, because I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. You know what I mean? Like, Ben Affleck had problems. Ben Affleck didn't rape anybody. I didn't block you. I just didn't respond to it. I didn't block you. The comment should still be there, but I didn't block you. No, I didn't block you at all. That's what it boils down to. I'm just saying, it's like, that ain't cool to say, man. Like, you can sit there and not be happy with what he did. You can sit there and be furious at what he did. But I still think, something that happened well over 20 years ago that he has made comments about apologizing for. You might want to look at who he is now versus, who he was then. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying on this particular point. That's where I'm at with it, right? Shaggy here says that's going to be a yikes from me, dog. Yeah. So there you go. I don't think Ben Affleck is a bad guy. I got into it with him once. He actually called me a teenage racist, but this is a true story. This is back when I was 19 and I was 18. I was 18. It was the winter of 2000 and Project Greenlight was happening. And I had entered into Project Greenlight and people in the writers forum, contestants were upset that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon had not actually come in to engage with us there, but they were engaging with people in the general chat, which was not accessible to people who were not contestants. And you know what? So I thought I would just be an edgy little boy, right? I was an edgy little teen, and I thought I would call him out, and I did call him out. I called him a pussy, and then he called me a little teenage racist. And it was funny because I didn't say anything that was racist, but at the time, and I'll be fair, at the time, I didn't have a lot of experience with the LGBT community. And I had kind of more of a conservative upbringing on that front, just because of being Christian and being around a lot of Christians in the 90s. And so I had made a couple comments that were definitely like not indicative of a person who was educated on the subject. And I'd made those comments on this forum. And that's what he was calling me out for. But the thing is, it was through Project Greenlight that I actually got to meet several individuals who identify as gay and lesbian, part of the LGBTQ community, who were very opening and welcoming and understanding that the fact that I was 18 and I was a little shit and I had told them about my upbringing and they were like, okay, we get it. And you know what they did? They were just cool and we were just cool. And that opened my eyes to a lot of the stupid shit that I had said as a result of that. I don't think like that. I don't talk like that. Those guys actually benefited, making me a better person as a result of having the exposure to that shit. That's what I'm trying to say. People can change based upon a lot of fucking things. And I think that's a factor a lot of people out there don't fucking realize. So there's that. Anyway, I just wanted to, I'm not going to ban you. I'm not going to ban you for it. I'm not going to ban, I'm just saying, like, all I'm saying is like, you could sit there and say something that's a little different than I wish he killed himself, right? Or thrown himself out the window. That's all I'm saying. H Bart's here says, I'm off work till Sunday, so I'll be here for the rest of the week. Love the Waxworks Patio. In the future, I'll pay for the sequel. Well, thank you. If you guys don't know, the Waxworks Patio commentary is up. I did get that up today. I was a day late, unfortunately. Had a lot of fun talking about it. It was definitely a fun movie, and looking forward to watching the sequel. So that's up on Patio Commentary, which I do have the URL. I have to just make a website for it. But thank you very much, H Barts. By the way, I'm just going to point out, I'm just going to call it out. I'm just going to say it. H Barts got promoted at work. Now I want to celebrate that. He told me that he won't be around as much as a result, which is unfortunate. However, for the last couple of years, H Barts has been a great supporter of the channel, a friend, a good guy. I'm very happy to know him. I'm very thankful to know him. And the fact that he was able to be recognized at his work and get the promotion for his hard work and dedication, dude, that's fantastic. Congratulations. I'm really, really, really happy for you. And you know what? You're going to go on to go do good things, man. Good job. So definitely keep up the good work there. Willie here asking, have I done a Patio commentary on Smile? I haven't even seen Smile, so I haven't done it yet there. A lot of the newer movies, I that's the kind of weird thing when I talk about that, because like the newer movies, a lot of people aren't that interested in. You know what I mean? Like I talked about Cocaine Bear. The Patio commentary did okay. I talk about The Frighteners. It did much better. You know what I mean? And the movies are damn near 30 years apart. So it just depends on the movie. But a lot of genre stuff seems to work out better. Although now Cocaine Bear is on PVOD. Even though I didn't care for the movie, I need to give it a watch again and go from there. Yeah, there's that. Ralph Double Tisser says we need a new sponsor for HWAD. The show might be canceled. Dude, I've been getting so many people sending me clips of John Campea like retiring. and everything else. And they're like, you know, like now is the time or whatever. And it's like, look, man, Campia stepping out of the ring in a couple of years is not going to change where we currently are, right? Campia talks about the news. He largely is not controversial. He puts his foot in his mouth a number of times, but at the same time, he doesn't engage in the culture war in the way that a lot of us out there kind of do. And I do dip my toe in occasionally. I do try to not do it, but it does happen. I know you guys like Chud Watch. I know you guys like me tearing into those things, and I do enjoy doing it. But man, it's like you're up against a monster of epic proportions, and it's draining. It's very draining to do. So, you know, it's got to be kind of a semi-often thing. But I think when Campia does step down and there is that power vacuum, a lot of people are going to be looking for alternatives. And the thing is, YouTube is not short on alternatives. And Campia tried making a comment about that, saying 1,000 other people that copy what he does. Dude, people who have webcams, who sit in their living room, talk about movies. All right. That's not copying what you've done. If you look at Campia, right. And the thing with Campia, I'll talk about that for a second, is like this thing with Mint Mobile has definitely hurt him. I think this whole Ryan Reynolds selling Mint Mobile to T-Mobile for $1.3 billion is hysterical to me, because it shows you that it's like, oh shit, like that particular money train is going to end. Campia's wife is going back to school, so he's got to pay for that. He had to let go of Rob and Chris a couple days a week in order to kind of scale that back, to the point now where Robert Meyer Burnett is like, he's over on Zod Rider's stream for some reason, talking to like 20 people for 3 hours. It doesn't make any sense and whatever. But he's also like over on, you know, with Nerdrotic and EFAP and all those guys, because he's trying to find a new way to bring in an audience now that access to Campia is not to say that it's going to go away, but it's definitely something that is not as prevalent of a gig, you know? So no, I think it's going to be fine. Honestly, like I've been told by people I should get sponsors for the show. I say fuck too goddamn often. I make too many cum jokes. Who's going to sponsor me? Pornhub? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. All right. I don't think Pornhub is going to come on in and be like, hey, yo, dog, let's get a thing going. You talk about Riley Reid enough. Do you want to do it? No, it's not going to happen, especially the fact that right now, Pornhub has actually just been acquired by a Canadian private equity firm, Ethical Capital Partners, as the new Netflix documentary comes out. Just think of it like this. Pornhub has now opted to be purchased by a Canadian private equity firm called Ethical Capital Partners. Ethical and Pornhub don't necessarily go together hand in hand, if you know what I mean. There is some sketch. There is some sus shit that goes on there. Jay David here says, you can curse, just no sex talk. But the sex talk is fun. The sex talk is fun. It's very surface level. We talk, it's just, I make cum jokes. That's really about it. You know, it's really not, it's whatever, you know? I'm just saying it is, or Manscaped. What am I, fucking Lightcast? What am I, manscaped.com, promo code HWAD for all your ball shaving needs. Do you have a 1970s porno bush? Are your pubes oiled and ready to go, but you just want to be beach body ready? Get the Hollywood After Dark special discount, manscaped.com. There you go. But anyway, you can get sponsored. What the fuck is Blue Chew? I have no idea. I don't know. Marcus here says, if Matt doesn't say cum or fuck on the stream, it wouldn't last 15 minutes. That's not true. I can say a lot of shit. I don't have to say it, but I think it's funny. I've got no better sponsor than H Parts. You're good. I love H Parts, but yeah, he does help out quite a bit. But anyway, this happened today. I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, let me just, before we dive into it, I just wanted to quickly touch upon the headline on that. One other thing happened. Two things happened this week in regards to artificial intelligence. And I do like to kind of reserve a little bit of time for the AI talk, because AI is going to be where things go. And people here do genuinely find it interesting. So ChatGPT has now unveiled GPT-4, which is way crazier than ChatGPT, albeit slower. I've been playing around with it. I was at my dad's house tonight, and my stepmom is an educator, right? She works in the school department, and we're talking about ChatGPT, and she's like, isn't this the thing that kids are using to cheat? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, how does it work? And so I said, okay, why not? I brought it up on my phone, and I just did the speech to text, and I went, pretend you're Shel Silverstein and you're writing a poem about two corgis playing on the beach during the summer. And then I just hit the button and I set it down, and she just watched it just like crank out this fucking thing, right? Just crank out this Shel Silverstein, stylings, whatever. And she's like, oh shit, can people use this to write papers? And I'm all like, yeah, they can, but it's not perfect, but it can get the job done, all things considered. So she's like, great. As an educator, she's a little bit worried about it, but I told her it's a tool that shouldn't be feared, but it does need to be definitely constrained in a couple areas, especially in education. One of the interesting things is when it comes to the art stuff, right? So Midjourney has also updated itself today or this week by offering up Midjourney version 5. And trust, dude, this shit's getting insane. Let me show you guys this right here. I got a little bit bored earlier when I started messing around with it, and I just said Lego figures storming Normandy Beach, right? And this is like one of the ideas it gave me. And this is like a first model of it, but just look at the depth of field. Look at the way that it shot, the natural lighting, the sand. I mean, like, it looks like somebody set this up on a beach and just started taking photos. I mean, there's obvious issues with like the way that the Legos work. So I started refining it. I started playing about it. I started messing around with it a little bit more. And I ended up coming up with this prompt right here. I was like, a Lego minifigure standing at the apocalypse at sunset, natural lighting. I showed this to my dad and my stepmom. They thought that I took this photo. And if you just look at it right away, you can see there's some flubs. You can see there's some flaws. But for the most part, this particular image looks like something that was shot with a camera. Like, this is just how it's getting. Blaine here says this is wild. All right. Like, this is well, it's kind of true. It's kind of crazy. So I was showing them a little bit more. They look like cheap Chinese knockoff figs. They do. They really do. But again, it's like, it's getting better, right? It's getting better with this one. And so one of the things they said, like, okay, what else can you do with it? And so they have two corgis, right? They have a two corgi puppies that are siblings, and my kids love them. And I'm not a dog person, let me be honest with you guys, but I like the corgis as well. And I like to make AI art about corgis. I don't know why. So I said two corgis playing on the beach, summertime, midday, natural lighting, ultra realistic. And this is what I ultimately came up with. This took a few re-rolls to get it like this. There's definitely some issues there. You can tell that this is not a real photo, but god damn, this is the kind of shit that it's working. It's just getting crazy, right? Now, Taylor here makes a great point. All I have to say about AI is this: just like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. 100%. I have no desire to turn any of this into some kind of profit-making endeavor, but I'm really having fun messing around with it because this to me is just nuts. And you can ask it to do so much stuff. All right. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Also, Wayne T. Carr is not over on the Skywalker stream. All right. There's that one. It's not the case. Yeah, it's not the case on that. But we did get a H-Barts here, Fiverr. Thank you, buddy. Says, showed Elmo the DM I sent you. He said that DM was supposed to make me feel bad about doing what I've done. Yes. Without going into too much detail on that, yes. H-Barts recently distanced himself from somebody, explained why that person then came back with a very guilt-trippy DM, which I have seen. And I completely agree. That was definitely a guilt-trippy thing. Like it just, it's just ego, motherfuckers. Ego is a motherfucking thing. It's terrible shit. Shouldn't happen. But we all have ego. It's all crazy. Ralph's Double Tits here says tomorrow would have been the release date for Jedi Survivor. At least we have RE4 next week. Oh yeah, holy shit, yeah. I definitely will be getting RE4 when it's cheaper, but I am gonna get Jedi Survivor, 100%. Zap asking for tour, thank you, buddy. Says, do you know why Grace blocked you? Not specifically, but it probably has a lot to do with some of the criticism that I've levied at her on social media as well as YouTube. Because I did call her out when she claimed that Kelly Marie Tran had brought the harassment on herself. Like, that was so, like, I would honestly argue, like, no one in movie talk hates women more than Grace Randolph hates some women. You know, it's a weird thing. Like, even like Mecha Random hating Brie Larson is done for reasons you can understand just because of how Mecha Random is as horrible as a person. But when you look at like Grace Randolph, you're like, why does she hate Jessica Chastain? Why does she go, why does she do all this shit? It doesn't make a lot of fucking sense. Kelly Marie Tran was definitely, she definitely felt the pressure. And I think a lot of people were dicks to her, and they didn't need to be dicks to her, but they were dicks to her, and it was collateral damage. I don't agree with it, but I think it was collateral damage from everything that happened with The Last Jedi. So that's kind of what I think happened on that one. But it's yeah, even Marcus here kind of called it out too. I'll give him credit. He kind of pinpointed what it was. But that's one of the reasons why it probably happened there. I don't even know. H Bars here for 5. Thank you, buddy. Says, who thought modern day music would fit into a Willow TV show? You know what, man? I haven't seen it, but I heard about it, and I don't understand that. I don't understand what prompted them to do that. It's like, I don't know if they just thought, hey, like, this is something that works. Like, this is something that we should do. No, it's just, it's like they're trying to, I think the biggest problem ultimately is that they're trying to modernize everything. I really do. I think they're trying to bring it into like the modern audiences so the modern audiences can connect to it. And the thing is, they don't have to do that. They don't have to do that at all. Like, it doesn't make any, it's a really piss poor decision. And ultimately, like, Willow, it just didn't vibe. Now, look, it's entirely possible, because I need to go back and rewatch the original. It's been a long time, that they didn't do enough to like really kind of tie into like what made Willow a fan favorite. Willow is your general standard fantasy movie that came out in the 1980s. There's really like not much, and I'm just going to be honest here. You could put Willow next to Red Sonja, and a lot of people would think that they were probably from the same world. I don't think, like, I love both movies. Red Sonja arguably is like not the greatest thing ever, but I still enjoy the movie quite a bit. And I love Willow, but it's like you could put those together and you'd go, okay, this kind of seems like they came from the same thing, because that was some of those fantasy films for back in the 80s. And so it's just like they didn't do enough to like do a resurgence. They should have put Willow back in theaters. They should have done a marketing thing for Willow, trying to make it a big deal. Like, they botched the marketing of it. And then when they go and they add in like contemporary classics, like, bitch, this is not fucking 1990s Baz Luhrmann fucking Romeo and Juliet. That shit, dude, that shit is so stupid in my opinion. All right. Like, the fucking Baz Luhrmann movie, the Cardigans, everything, like, was such a, I understand the modern take he was going for, and stylistically it's interesting, but I just was like, this is stupid. Like, this is dumb. And that, again, like, music plays a big part. When you hear music, like, if you're watching Indiana Jones, and Indiana Jones, all of a sudden, he's going to get into action, and you start hearing like, dun, 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 dun. You're like, yeah. Or Star Wars does that, Phantom, the fucking, Duel of the Fates drops and shit. You understand that music plays an important part. But having just modern music, but turned into this like fantasy shit, no, stop doing it. It's very stupid. Very, very, very stupid. I don't fucking like that shit at all. All right. So H Bar's here for 10. Thank you. Speaking of Shakespeare, it's kind of an odd thing. All right. I hate it when they said his work in modern day. It's so odd, because you got people speaking Middle English in modern settings instead of the 1500s and the 1600s. It's a very weird thing. Now, I could understand adapting a Shakespeare story and setting it in modern times. One of my personal favorites is 10 Things I Hate About You, which is an adaptation of The Taming of the Shrew. You know, like it's a good story, and it is done in a way that was a lot of fun, and it was a hit back in 1999 when it came out. The thing is, though, is like, yeah, when they try to like modernize this, and they're like, but we want to tell a contemporary story with Shakespeare. Like, I want to do Othello, but I want to do Othello in like the inner city of Chicago, like in Chirac. I want to put it there. I want to set it there. And I want them to speak Middle English, and I want them to have all the mannerisms of Shakespearean actors. But I want to set it in a gritty, realistic, downtrodden community, just to really give us, like, to really kind of set home why we need to have this story. Like, you know, it's like, for fuck's sake. Like, look, if people are going to put up the tens of millions of dollars to make a goddamn movie like that, then that's fine. Financiers can easily lose their goddamn money. But I'm just not going to watch it. Personally, I'm just not going to watch it. That's just how I see it on that stuff. It's just like, it's stupid. Taylor here says, if anyone is insane to put modern music in a fantasy setting, it needs to be a cover with instruments from that setting. I think they kind of did that though, right? I think they did that in Willow, but it still seems really, really, really weird. You know what I mean? It just doesn't need that. Now, Nihilus here says Temple of Doom started out with a musical number, but there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that musical number. Couple reasons. One, it was set in 1935. It was set in Shanghai, China. They were putting on a stage show at a nightclub. Nightclubs had a lot of music back then. You know, that kind of thing wasn't uncommon. Additionally, Steven Spielberg had told George Lucas while they were talking on the beach back in the 70s, waiting for the opening numbers of Jaws to come on in. Or was it Star Wars? Yeah, I think it was Star Wars. And they're talking about movies they want to make. And Spielberg says that he wanted to do a Bond movie. And then Lucas basically goes, I've got something better. The opening of Temple of Doom was a throwback to that same conversation. The opening of Temple of Doom was Indiana Jones in a Bond movie. So they had the big musical opening during the opening credits as an homage to James Bond movies. So there's a reason why that was there. There's a reason why Anything Goes, or Everything Goes, was the song that Willie was singing. There's a reason why it was the big production that it was, because it has contextual history with the origin of that series. Never mind a type of movie that Spielberg himself had wanted to make. He, you know, like that's kind of what it boils down to. So you got to just kind of get in on that one there. Rational here for 2 says, can we watch the Star Wars game trailer I DM'd? Yeah, we'll watch it at the end. All right, just I'll check it out. You know, Jay David here said Temple of the Doom had music from its time period, not modern music. Yeah, probably the only modern thing really in Temple of Doom was the Star Wars reference, the Club Obi-Wan. That was probably it, right? That was probably it. But even then, like that was one quick reference that was in that movie. I didn't, you know, like that's it. Other than that, though, it's definitely kind of its own thing. All right, let's move on here. Let's see. Brogy here says Willow had shitty covers of classic songs that it didn't vibe too well. A dope series overall. The thing is, though, I didn't hear anything good about the series. I only heard that it was shitty, and I just heard it was shitty because of the music. So I need to go and check that out. Static here says it still blows my mind that Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders. Yeah, I didn't know that for quite some time. You know, Raiders was set in 1936. Temple was set in 1935. And then, of course, Crusade was set in 1939. So, yeah, there's a lot there. I'm a big-ass Indiana Jones fan, man. Don't forget Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd. Yes, complete with the British accent as well. That was a good one. Willie here brings up If Looks Could Kill. If Looks Could Kill was great. If Looks Could Kill was great. That was a fun spy parody film. That was really solid. You know, Reed, they always said Indiana was a successor to Bond, hence Connery was his dad. I don't know if I believe that. I've never heard that, Marcus, but I mean, you know what? Hey, Connery, what's funny is Connery was only 12 years older than Harrison Ford, and he played his dad. He was only 12 years older. That's crazy. Vin Frost here says, I'm caught up on the web series Hell of a Boss. It's pretty good. You should give it a watch when you can. Yeah, I definitely want to. You can thank Ryan Hartwell for sponsoring that stream where we got to go and check that out. That was pretty good. Definitely want to go and talk there. Okay, so let's move on with some stuff here. So let's talk about the other day. Netflix famously canceled a $150 million romantic comedy from Nancy Meyer because they're like, it's too expensive. They were like $130 million. And she was like, no, I want 150, 80 million of that 150 million was going to go to the cast, right? Cast like Scarlett Johansson, Owen Wilson, Penelope Cruz, Michael Fassbender. That's what she wanted it for. She wanted to get them paid because it's a streamer. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense. But Netflix didn't want to go over 130 and she wanted 150, so they canceled it. Now we're hearing, according to Discussing Film, and they're reporting it from Deadline, is that Warner Brothers is in the talks to pick up this Nancy Meyers movie. Now, this, if you want my honest opinion, feels like a David Zaslav move. And I say that because he's a conservative boomer. Okay. He's conservative and he's a boomer, and people out don't even argue that with me. You can't argue that with me. Look up how old he is. He's like 65. He's a boomer. Okay. But the thing is, though, is that rom-coms do have a very specific audience. Rom-coms do largely tend to make money in the home video ancillary market, and good ones can do well theatrically. We know this. Now, they're probably thinking to themselves, if horror movies can do well theatrically at this point, why not rom-com? It serves a different audience. Like I went through that whole thing last night talking about how it's a power fantasy. It's just a different kind of power fantasy, but it's still a power fantasy. If you market it right, you can do well. Nancy Meyer is a person. She did like what? She did, God, The Holiday is a big one. Everyone loves The Holiday. She's done a bunch of them as well, but like she's known for that kind of stuff. So she has an in with that older female demographic who are going to be like, oh my God, I love The Holiday. What's this new movie with Scarlett Johansson and Owen Wilson? And that Scarlett Johansson and Owen Wilson are going to be the couple that falls in love, right? He's going to be like the, oh, gee golly guy, wow type stuff. And Scarlett's going to be probably the one who's got a bit of a stick up her ass, who ends up having to probably end up, pulling it out and being better down the road. It doesn't make a lot of sense to fund it at 150 million. I mean, look, we know that Warner Brothers Discovery is trying to write things down. We know that they're not really marketing Shazam. We know all this kind of stuff. So them wanting to go and buy $150 million rom-com is a little bit weird. However, I will say this. They're probably not going to go for 150 million if they're going to go the theatrical route. They'll just split the points down they'll split the points on the back end. And if the movie is profitable, everybody gets paid. That's effectively what they're going to do. It's old school business model. That's what Zaslav wants. That's what Zaslav's going to do. But what he also needs is a variety of content to come to theaters. It can't all be it can't all be horror. It can't all be action. It can't all be whatever. There's got to be a very robust slate of films. And that's what old Warner Brothers did. For a long time, they'd release one movie a month, but it would be a different type of movie, which is why up until the, Disney train started chugging along with Alan Horn, Warner Brothers, who by the way came from Warner's, Warner Brothers had the largest market share, theatrically speaking, and were just pulling in money hand over fist. That went away, and they got to get back to that. So that's probably what's going to happen here. Just to be thing. Taylor here says Zaslav needs to be fired out of a cannon into the sun. Yes, from an animator's perspective, I completely understand that, and I back up what you think. Right, from a complete animation fan's perspective, I'm going to agree with you on that one there. So we're gonna have to wait and see how it all goes. Rodney here says, I enjoyed The Intern with De Niro and Hathaway. Did she do that? Because I saw The Intern, and yeah, that was really good. I really liked The Intern as well. I thought that was a really solid thing. Okay, so Zaslav is 63. Fine. I was off by 2 years. Still a fucking boomer, okay? Still a boomer. My mom turned 65, like, in 2 months. She's a boomer. He's a boomer. They're all boomers. They're all boomers. Let's see. I know Taylor says, wait. What Warner Brothers canceled how many things? Now they want to buy $120 million movie that Netflix thought was too expensive. Yes, That is why that specific thing is kind of crazy. I know it's weird, but it's simply the world that we live in. Now let's move on to another one that I don't quite know how true it is, but then again, holy crap. According to Discussing Film here, they say that a Mephisto special is currently being filmed secretly for Disney Plus, starring Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. Now, look, this is coming in from Jeff Snyder, and we're going to talk more about Jeff Snyder here in a second. However, I've been hearing for like 2 fucking years, over 2 fucking years, it's all fucking Mephisto, baby. It's all fucking Mephisto. Everything's Mephisto. It's all Mephisto. Fuck. Give me goddamn Mephisto or shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is happening or not. I mean, look, if they want to do a Mephisto special for Disney Plus, there's a high likelihood that it would be like another special presentation for around the Halloween season. I could understand that. That would give it enough time for post-production if they're shooting it right now, because you know it's going to be very visually, taxing, and they're going to need time to get that right. We can probably think that special presentations are going to be the way going forward, having them be themed around specific holidays. Obviously, Halloween is a big one with Werewolf by Night, the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Those are going to be, I think, what they go forward with. And so that would make a lot of sense. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Also, Sacha Baron Cohen playing Mephisto is an interesting choice, but he's not against working with Disney. Remember, he was in Luca as Uncle Lugo, and it's like he's done a bunch of other stuff, and it's Sacha Baron Cohen. So with any luck, we'll find out more about that to some extent here pretty soon. Jay David here says, Borat is perfect casting. Outlord says, oh my God, that dude on YouTube will lose his mind. Which one are you referring to? There's a lot of dudes on YouTube that are going to lose their mind. Rodney P says, Jeff Snyder is pretty reliable, more than Daniel RPK, and RJ doesn't need to pay for it. Oh, yeah, man. There we go. Spherical Manor says, Disney, hey, that Lucifer series did well. What can we do? Exactly. Bring in Borat. Play Mephisto. Be all like, very nice. How much? I don't even know. Either way, yeah. Coming to Disney Plus, the Mephisto Easter special. There we have it, folks. It should be a Christmas story, just to piss off the stuff there. H. Bart's here says, RJ loves Daniel RPK. I can't say anything, even though I'm not signed to an NDA. Yeah, I know. Outlord says, new Rockstar. I think he saw Mephisto everywhere. Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this when it comes to new Rockstar about that. New Rockstars, again, they were just riding that algorithm, man. Like, they were just riding that algorithm. Everyone was seeing Mephisto and everything in WandaVision because there was some basis for comparison there, and they were just looking for whatever that they could. And I do think to some extent that Disney was aware of this and was adding that kind of stuff into it. I'm playing into it. I do believe to some extent that the marketing department was heavily pushing some of these rumors, because I feel like in the last couple years, they've gotten really crazy with it, right? I feel some of the stuff that comes out has to be studio leaks in order to gauge market interest, as well to manipulate market interest, right? Give a little bit of information and see what happens, and then try to feed into feed fuel to the fire over certain things and go from there. But the problem, though, is that you have a lot of people that, you have some that are reliable, and then you have others that are just complete grifters, but know that they can literally throw anything against the wall, including the kitchen sink, and eventually something will stick, probably even the kitchen sink. It's pretty crazy. Anthony here says, WandaVision is a flop show. Shut the fuck up, Anthony. No, it's not. No, it's not. Just kidding. Oh, you troll. Comic book cast, man. I can't. I try listening. I try. I can't do it. Emergency Awesome's the same way. I can't do it. Now I will say though, for Charlie, once you get past his clickbait, it's not so bad, but Charlie is kind of crazy like that though. All right. There was also, another, at Super here from H Bar's Tenor. Thank you, buddy. Says, did you ever finish The Last of Us? If so, did the last episode feel rushed? I love it, but I wish it was 10 episodes instead of 9. Also, I haven't watched a new Mando since the first episode. So I also haven't watched Mando since the new episode. I'm going to actually probably watch those tonight because the kids don't have school tomorrow. And so I should be able to watch them. I was going to watch them last night after the show. Literally, like my 5-year-old, both her and her sister weren't feeling the greatest. And so like I had put her down with her tablet. You know, I probably shouldn't have done. I just, yeah, it's just some, you know, I'm like, I got to work here. Just watch this and fall asleep. And she was still awake when I got done with the stream. And I was like, holy crap. So I just took the tablet. I'm like, okay. She's like, can we go to sleep? She wanted to cuddle. So we cuddled up and we went to sleep. And, you know, and so but we took her down to my dad's house. She played with corgis. My dad's got Alexa smart bulb. So she was like playing with that. So she got tuckered out. So I think she's asleep. So I can get time to watch it. That's the problem when you have kids. It's like I'm watching The Last of Us. Okay. So by the way, yes, I finished it yesterday. I did finish it yesterday afternoon. I didn't take a nap. I skipped my nap in order to watch The Last of Us. That's how much I wanted to finish it. Because the night before, as I mentioned, I think I might have mentioned this in the Waxworks party. No, I didn't. I mentioned this, I think, last night. I was watching it. I get halfway through the episode 9 or episode 8, and then I go get a cup of water. My kid's awake, and she wants to go to sleep. She wants to come cuddle. She's having trouble sleeping. So I'm like, I got to stop watching the show. Which is fine. It's fine. I'm a parent. That's what happens. You have to do it. Yes, I've seen it. I don't think the last episode was rushed. What were you supposed to do with it? Right? Like they just got us right into the action without spoiling what happens. They get there and there's no buildup for it. It's just like, it's over. Right? Like you get there and like he comes again, whatever. And then they go, okay, yeah. Oh, we didn't know that was you. Here you go. Thank you for doing what you're supposed to do. Get the hell out. And he's like, but wait, what about this? And like, yeah, no, like, no, you know what I mean? And it's like, that was it. That was the snapping point. And I loved it. I thought it was great. Like, I thought that scene with him and everything and the hallway stuff was just like hardcore. And I was like, especially, dude, I'm like leading into season 2 or what's going to happen in season 2. Like once we get the backstory from that one thing, it's going to be nuts, dude. The people who've never played the games are going to lose their fucking shit because so many people backed what Joel did. I know there's a lot of an argument about it, right? Did Joel do the right thing? Did he do the right thing? Was it morally correct? No, it wasn't morally correct, but it didn't matter. That's not the point. The point is not about doing what's morally right. The point is about like, you know, it's about family. I mean, literally the entire concept of The Last of Us is just Fast and Furious, but with zombies. It's what it is. I did love it. I do want to watch it again. The 4K comes out in July. I'll probably try to pick it up, watch it again. It was good stuff. Yeah, if you haven't seen The Last of Us, go watch it. There we go. Sorry. I just, that was kind of my review of that one there. Cause I really, really, really like it. They should make The Last of Us a video game. Yeah, there you go. There you go. They should make The Last of Us a video game. I really wonder what that would be like. I wonder what that would be like if they made Last of Us a fucking video game. Hell yeah. You know what they need to do is they need to go back to make cult movies again, remake cult movies. Oh no, that's what's happening right here. So check this out. This is something else that popped up today that I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about. But according to the Hollywood Reporter, you have got Barbie Ferreira and Doc Ray Montgomery. They've been cast in the reimagining of the cult horror film Faces of Death. Now, a lot of you out there are a little bit on the younger side and probably don't know what Faces of Death is. Faces of Death was an urban legend when I was a kid. It was an urban legend to a lot of kids because the idea behind it was really interesting. It was a series of movies you would come across it at a video store. You would see the box art, Faces of Death, and ask yourself, well, what is that? And then someone would tell you, oh, it's a movie where they actually show real people dying. That was what the concept was. That was what the idea was. It was a series of collections of real life video footage of people dying. And I think it was like a pathologist is like reviewing the footage essentially, but people are dying in like brutally fucked up ways. And that's what the urban legend was, that you were watching an effective snuff film, that this was a movie that you were able to rent from the store and actually watch people die in an era when that wasn't something that was easily accessible via the internet. Like, again, what you guys have to remember is that when the internet started becoming more accessible, like in the late 90s, the two websites that a lot of teens went to a lot were rotten.com and goregallery.com, repositories for the macabre, websites that featured all the nastiness that was out there. And you could just look at these photos and look at these videos of people who committed suicide, people who, you know, were murdered, people who died of natural causes, but were left in conditions that would just cause the bodies to rot. You could find whatever. One of the reasons why, when I looked at the Logan Paul suicide forest video from a couple years ago and how I knew that it was fake, was because I had actually gone on to rotten.com and Gore Gallery as a young teenager and seen photos of people who had hung themselves and what happens once rigor mortis sets in, once the corpse begins to rot. And nothing was even remotely on display in that Logan Paul video because he faked it. The whole goddamn thing is fake, 100%, in my opinion. And if I could show it to you, if there's a copy, I don't know where it's at. Live Leak was taken down. I could effectively show you why it was fake. But they are now going to be remaking Faces of Death. And I think that's largely stupid. Now, I say that because, for one, we live in the age where I can just like go on Reddit and find videos of people dying. Shit. I used to spend a lot of time on 4chan. There's a reason why when my friend showed me Two Girls, One Cup back in 2007, I watched the whole thing while eating carne asada fucking nachos and not even having a problem looking at the of Two Girls, One Cup, because I had seen shit worse than that on 4chan. I'll be honest with you guys. What turned me off to this kind of stuff, not that I was really into it, but like, it's always fascinating, right? What really got me, what disturbed me to the point of where I don't want to see this anymore, any of it. And I'll be honest with you guys. There was a video of two cartel members holding a woman down and executing her by chopping off her head. They didn't do it in one hit. They didn't do it in 2 hits. They did it in 4. And that sound just stayed with me. Her crying and then immediate silence just stayed with me. It disturbed me. I've seen people die in horrible, terrible, tragic ways. Intentional, accidental, whatever. I find crime scenes to be interesting. I find murder to be fascinating because to me, it's a puzzle. It's a story to unfold. It's something to uncover. Going and watching a movie called Faces of Death that is meant to showcase people dying in terrible ways while someone analyzes the data is something that is so far removed from where we are as a society. I don't know how they're going to be able to make it even remarkably interesting without going down the route of making it torture porn. Because that's what I feel is going to happen. That's what I feel is really, really, really going to happen, is that they're only going to have to make it torture porn as a way to try and get us to, to see it. And I'll say this. I'm glad that the torture porn genre is largely moved on. And I just want to point this out too. I came across this today. So was Bruce Campbell. In fact, Bruce Campbell explains why torture porn needs to go and what exactly we need to do to maintain horror. So here, listen to this, and you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Feel about this kind of dramatic edge that horror has taken.
Every horror movie is different. I'm just glad we're past torture porn.
Oh, you and me
Putting
both.
a guy's dick in a vice for 30 minutes, poking it with a stick, that's not really filmmaking to me. Where's the suspense? Where's the jump scares? Right? Where is that? Where is that? That takes a skill between actor, filmmaker, and director to create mood, tension, and it's too easy of an out. So I'm glad that the torture porn phase, that whole hostile business, rearview mirror. It's time. And look, horror movies have gone through all kinds of phases. I don't know where they are. I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood.
Wonderful stuff. We're so excited to have you
Elevated
here.
horror, I guess.
Elevated horror. Very A24.
How would you define elevated horror?
Did you see Midsummer?
Proper movie, sticky blood. There's no water.
Kind of going back to your question, my colleague's question here, working through the trauma and moving away from the blood and guts that we love so much that you're an expert in, and into the cerebral,
Come on, just
the
cut
mind
their fucking
fun.
head off. Man.
Thank
Get
you.
with the program.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a wonderful fest.
Thank you, but why though? But why though?
Oh, I know.
But
So he's right. He's right there. I mean, for one, fuck elevated horror. Jesus fucking Christ. Pretentious art house shit, right? Like, I don't need to like watch a movie about like, oh my God, I'm suffering. I'm like PTSD, the movie. No, thank you. I'm good. I don't need to relive my own PTSD in a movie form. You know, I'm sorry. This is not going to be a thing. But I'm just telling you that in many ways, the torture porn side of it needs to go the fuck away, in my mind. Bruce not seeing Midsummer is great. I mean, a lot of people didn't see Midsummer. I had Midsummer explained to me, and I was like, I'm good. I'm okay. It's all right. Mad here for 2. Thank you, buddy. Says, have you seen the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre game trailer? I haven't, actually. How's it look? Look okay? Look pretty good? We'll have to, maybe check that out at some point in time. But look, talking about the horror thing, that's what I'm talking about here. So Faces of Death means very little to me overall. But Doc Ray Montgomery, I liked him as Billy in the, what's it called? I liked him in Billy in Stranger Things. And I also liked him in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So, good. Give him something to dive into. Give him something in there. Mr. Toker asking, have I ever seen Strangeland with D. Snyder? Not the greatest horror flicks, but it's pretty wild for its time, given the premise. Oh, yeah, dude. Amy Smart's in that one. Yeah. Dude, Strangeland was good. Like, Strangeland was good. I think D. Snyder did a really good job in that movie. I remember watching it with a friend of mine who recently passed away, actually. Like when I first met him, we watched a bunch of movies and stuff. And he showed me Strangeland. We've only watched it one time. I need to watch it again. I know it's it wasn't like a cable movie, right? It was made for cable, wasn't it? Or at least made for direct to video. But yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. I have seen it. It's a long time. Let's see. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game gives Mad here the Friday the 13th game vibes. Man, I feel bad for Ilphonic. I really do. They put a lot of love into the Friday the 13th game, and they got fucked by that rights deal, man. They got fucked by that rights deal. I kickstarted that game. I don't kickstart shit. I kickstarted that game. Like, they sold me on it, and I really, really liked it. I was playing it again a couple years back, just in the bot mode, playing as Jason, hunting down the campers, and like it was fun. But I would rather it be like I'm a camper trying to outrun Jason, but Jason being the bot. I'd be okay with that. I don't mind asymmetrical, but I don't want to be the killer. I want to be the one trying to outrun the killer. I just think, to me, that's more fun. And I think as time goes on, we'll see those kind of games. But yeah, there's that. I definitely need to give that. There's also a member chat. Okay, let me find the member chat. Let me look up the member chat, because it should tell me all that stuff. How far back was it? Because let me see. You sons of bitches. All right. Yeah. Where am I seeing? I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing that. I did see Reed. Did I miss Reed super chat? Hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to catch everything here. I might've missed one or hasn't. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Reed. Okay. Last of Us Ride would be something. Yeah. Last of Us Ride would be something. I think The Last of Us would be interesting if they did like an open world survival game, like they're doing apparently the multiplayer for factions for Last of Us Part 2 at some point that it's coming, definitely for PS5. But like, if they did a battle royale type game, right? Like that would be interesting. Or some kind of open world survivor game like Fallout 76, but interesting. That could be a lot of fun. There is a lot there they could do with The Last of Us in a multitude of game types that would be very interesting. But I think the thing is, though, Neil Druckmann is in charge of all that. So, it's going to be good or bad. With any luck, though, they'll realize that Uncharted needs to be a TV show, and we'll get a TV show. Andy Bucco here says, you should watch Suspiria, the original one by Dario Argento. Creepy, scary, and very good. I did see the scene from the new one with like the dancing scene. I saw that clip. That was pretty interesting. So, fourth here says, as far as The Last of Us goes, the infected barely felt like a part of the present story. You'd have a higher chance of being killed by a bear or a wolf than the infected in the show. Well, the thing is, though, it'd been 20 years. Like, look, there's been some, like they've been in many ways, again, they kind of talk about it in the show. All right. Where like the infected have the tendrils, and the tendrils like keep the host alive, keep the bodies alive as like a way of self-preservation. Okay. And that's largely about a lot of what they do. They go into kind of like hibernation mode unless they're disturbed. That's kind of what happened with the episode with Sam and Henry at the very end of that. They're driven underground, then they're disturbed, and then they come running out. It's a defense mechanism. So having the fungus be pushed back out of the city largely means that in many ways, these massive, Fedra run cities like Boston and Kansas City and shit, they are ultimately going to be okay if they keep everything out, which is why they have the type of protocols that they do, which means that the fungus itself is going to be prevalent in the outside. They did tone it back a bit for the show because the show is more about the human experience rather than the infected, but the infected were always not even the worst like threat in the game. That was always the human element, was always the worst threat of the game. But for season 2, they are going to do more with that though. So you're going to have that. Let's see here. Did you ever see Druckmann's original idea for The Last of Us was that only women got infected, but he changed his mind because of supposed misogyny? Yeah, because he's effectively making a game about HPV, where women get infected, but, men are the carriers. How about that? Also, okay, Zachary here said he had a member chat. Let me try to find that. But can you just tell me what it is? Because, it's just not showing here for me for some reason. If you just want to tell, here it is. Sorry. Do the Hatchet movies count as torture porn? I believe they're largely slashers. I haven't seen those movies, but I've heard about them. Now, I do know that Hatchet 2, if I remember, that was not rated by the MPAA, and they were still able to get a deal with AMC to run Hatchet in some theaters, but the MPAA put up such a fucking stink that ultimately AMC decided to pull the movie. If I recall, I could be wrong on that. I know that they were supposed to get it in theaters, but there's definitely a stink about it at some point. And that is, that's just the fucking MPAA, man. I hate that. Now, okay, H Bart's asking, is Saw torture porn? To some extent, yes. I would argue that Saw is torture porn. Now, I do think it has a little bit of a different type of thing. Bruce Campbell in that clip mentioned Hostel. Eli Roth's Hostel films are just deeply cynical. They're cynical and they're just mean-spirited. It really is about the violence and not so much the story. The story in Saw, having it be the, jigsaw and torturing people the way that he did, but he gives them the opportunity to survive. They have to sacrifice something, but they have the opportunity to survive. Whereas in Hostel is literally designed to be as close to a snuff film as possible. Like we're talking Cannibal Holocaust type stuff here. And that's really a lot of the kind of shit that Eli Roth does. Which is so weird that the last movie he did, as far as I know, was that House with the Clock in the Walls or whatever the hell it was, with Jack Black and Cate Blanchett. And it was a kid's film or a family movie. You're like, really? So the Bear Jew is now making family films. That's fascinating. That's interesting. That's wild, crazy stuff. Eli Roth is not my favorite director, but I don't hate the guy. I kind of enjoyed Hostel the first one, when I first saw it, but I've never had a reason or a thought to go back to it again. And I saw a little bit of Hostel too, but not enough to make me ever want to go back and watch it. So there's that. But I do enjoy the Saw films, the first couple of them at least, right? There's another one. You guys may have seen way back in the day. I think like, 06, maybe 05, Turistas, which was another kind of film like that took place in South America, and they would kidnap American tourists, and they would, take out their organs to sell them on the black market. That, I think Josh Duhamel's in that one. Turistas was really good. It had a good story. It had some good violence. I think the last, the underwater cave sequence that happened in the finale was also really good. I mean, like really intense. I really enjoyed it. I thought Turistas was solid as hell, and I recommend it. It's kind of like, I went on a date once to go see The Ruins. The Ruins is not torture porn. The Ruins is just, like, it's just a horror movie. But I'd met this belly dancer on the set of a music video that I was working on. She was an actress. She was like a waitress, and I was one of the grips. And we got to talking, and she was really cute, and I asked her out, right? I was like, I was trying to get my game on, and she agreed. And this is in like 07, I think, or whenever. No, Teresa's was 08. This was in 08. And April 08, I think. Right. And so she hits me up. She's like, hey, do you want to go see a movie? I said, all right, cool. And so we go and we go to the theater, and I'm like, hey, what do you want to watch? Right. I'm down for whatever. I could see whatever, because she knows I work at a theater. And she goes, oh, well, let's go check out The Ruins. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's a horror movie, but all right, cool. Because usually when a girl like wants to go see a horror movie, that's usually an indicator of like, yeah, all right, she's kind of digging you. Because horror is meant to, like, it's a scary thing. It's a safe scare, right? Safe danger sort of thing, and it's good. And so we go and we get into the theater, and we sit down, and we're like 20 minutes early, and it was pouring down rain that day in San Diego. And she shows up, and she's wearing, like, I look nice. I got, nice outfit on, whatever. She shows up in like jeans, t-shirt, and a poncho. And the poncho smells like wet dog. Like, and I'm a cat guy. I do not like the smell of wet dog. I do not like the smell of wet dog at all. But she smelled like wet dog. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? She's like, oh, it's my roommate's poncho. It just started raining before I left, yada, yada. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to, whatever. It's all good, right? It's all good. Cool. Doing, just doing the thing. So we get into the theater. We sit down, we're getting comfortable. We're talking. She takes out earplugs, and she puts earplugs in her ears. And I just look at her like, what are those for? And she goes, oh, I can't stand it when people eat during a movie. And I'm like, oh, that would make sense as to why you turned down me buying, popcorn and soda for us and everything. Right. And I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, can you hear the rappers? Can you hear them just eating? I can't stand it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get that. Yeah. I understand. Right. And again, I'm just being whatever. I'm just chill. I'm doing my thing. I'm like, this is all right. Movie starts, trailer start, we got like Kung Fu Panda, Tropic Thunder, Iron Man. I mean, like all the big hits, The Dark Knight, everything coming out in the summer of 2008. And then the AMC theaters little thing rolls, and the lights go dark, and the movie goes silent, and the movie's about ready to begin. And literally right before the opening of the movie, she just leans in close and she goes, oh, by the way, I really hate scary movies. And I just went, what? And then we watched The Ruins, which is a scary fucking movie with some pretty gnarly ass kills in this movie. And I'm sitting there, I'm into it. I love the movie. And I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I was like, yeah, involuntary. Oh, wow, that guy got fucking murked, And so we're like, the whole time and shit, like, she's not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. We're just watching the movie, whatever. I kind of forgot she was there, to be fair. The movie's over, and she gets up, and she gets kind of mad at me. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And she's like, did you like the movie? I said, yeah, I thought it was, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. She's like, well, I didn't. And I felt like you were mocking me because you were laughing during the movie. And I'm like, wait, what? No, I'm sorry. Like, some of those kills were pretty brutal. I just had that kind of visceral reaction of like, holy shit. That's all it was. She's like, well, I felt like you were mocking me. And I'm like, nah, man, nah. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm not doing that. Whatever, dog. Okay. And shit. And like, she fucking, we walk out, I walk her to her car and she's like, that was fun. We should do this again. And I was like, yeah, totally. Have a good one. I never called her again. That was it for me, right? She called me a couple of times. I just ignored her. I'm all like, you know what? Listen, she's hot. She was definitely hot. But I'm like, no, you know what? Not that whole thing was just crazy. I can't do it. They're just like, it's just nuts for me to see that shit. Anyway, that was, that was, yeah, red flag, right? I mean, it's Sean here says, I'm like that. I can't stand people eating during a movie. No, I get it, man. I get it. I understand, but, at the same time, for me, what it really was the whole thing of her leaning it. She picked the fucking movie. I told her it was a horror movie. She knew it was a horror movie. And then right as it begins, just goes, by the way, I hate horror films. Marcus just says she didn't clear that crazy hot ratio. Yeah. Yeah, that was a thing. There was just, yeah. I mean, look, man, some people have weird ticks. 100% Roman numerals gives a flag. It's crazy. Like, how hot does she look like anyone famous? I mean, no, I can't think of it right now. This was in 2008, man. That was literally 15 years ago. Like 15 years ago next month. I don't even really remember. She was a belly dancer. She was attractive. She was just crazy. She was just crazy. So I'm good. Like I'm okay with that. Like it sounds like a Seinfeld episode. It feels like a Seinfeld episode, right? It just feels like a Seinfeld episode. That's kind of how it works. It's just like, she was kind of crazy. But that's all right. That's all right. You know what? I think she's married now. I think because we were friends on Facebook, I never unfriended her or whatever, but like, I think at this point we are unfriended because I don't see her anymore on my feed. But I think she got married last I saw. And, hey, good for her. I hope the guy's not a horror movie fan. I really hope for that. But anyway, let's move on here from that one. At least she wasn't a crack addict. Well, I've been down that path as well. Actually, I've been down that path as well. Yeah, that was yeah. When a girl calls you at 2 a.m. and says, "Can you take me to the beach because I just smoked crack cocaine and I want to go swimming?" By the way, it's February in San Diego. Don't think with your junk. All I'm going to say. Okay. Don't do it. Don't do it. I did. Don't do it. Is the thing. Anyway, let's see, Seinfeld was named after a female sex organ. Oh, Dolores. And not Mulva. There you go. I see you sampled the buffet. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even understand how people date in this day and age. I really don't. But I'm very glad I'm not in that environment, man. I have no freaking, like, it's just like 42. How would that even work? No, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm good with where I'm at. Let's move on. Let's talk about the story that popped up today. Okay. This is one today where the story is, according to Jeff Snyder, and we're going to watch the video clip. It's somewhere in this little piece. We'll find it. James Cameron has a 9-hour cut of Avatar 3. Now, this has been reported before that his initial cut of Avatar 3 is 9 hours long. And according to Snyder, they talking about putting that as a Disney Plus limited series after the movie comes out, like a longer version of that. Like, we're talking James Cameron's Justice League type long. You know what I mean? So this is what he said. I haven't listened to this yet, but I want to see what he's going to say because you know what? He gets some stuff right, and I'll check it out. Besides, I'm a huge Avatar fan, so more Avatar the better for me. But Jesus Christ, this is going to be insane. Let's see what they say.
All right, Jeff, let's get into it. We got 266 people watching right now. Scoops and
That's
rumors
it?
from you. Hit a like and subscribe to the channel right now. Go ahead, Jeff.
Should have 1,000 people watching by the end of this. Okay, so first of all, there's going to be like a 30-minute Marvel segment of this episode. Yeah, I kind of have a hard out, but I have a lot of Marvel shit to discuss.
Okay.
But we want to start with this one, which is the biggest property in the land these days.
Okay.
And that's Avatar.
Ooh.
So months ago, if you recall, I put out a rumor about James Cameron for Avatar 3 having a 9-hour cut.
Yes, you did say
right? Of Avatar 3 that he wanted to finish the visual effects for.
Yeah.
Here's the rumor that I got today.
Okay.
Could change. But when I put that rumor out there, a lot of people were like, why would the studio pay for that? Why would he insist on doing visual effects if then he's going to cut the movie? Like, why would you pay for those finished effects? The idea is that Cameron would do all the visual effects for his 9-hour cut of Avatar 3 and then release it on Disney Plus as a limited series after the theatrical cut is released.
Wow.
Could you see that?
I could see that, and I'll tell you why. We were just talking about it. Zack Snyder's Justice League did so well after that Joss Whedon Frankenstein thing came out, and even Affleck says it in the interview. It's his highest rated film on IMDb, and it went.
That means nothing.
So to him, it's a success. And so you look at this, and that was 4 parts. That was 4 hours. So I think that makes a lot of sense. People binge stuff if you present it to them in episodic format. They don't see it as a 10-hour movie. They see it as 10 episodes. So mentally, they're okay with it. So it would be great and genius, and another example of forward thinking rather by James Cameron to do an accompanying 9-hour cut to the original cut for people to enjoy and make money off of. So it makes all the sense in the world for Cameron to do that.
It does. And
All right, so let me give my initial thoughts on that one. We'll go another minute or two on this. All I got to say to that is simply this. Let's fucking go. 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 Fucking, let's fucking go. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, motherfucker. Let's fucking go. Goddamn 9 fucking hours, Avatar 3. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Seriously, guys, I'm not even making that up. Like, let's fucking go. Let's do it. Let's hit it. Let's rock it. All right. Are you fucking, yeah, baby. Hell yeah. Oh, Spherical Man trying to rain on my parade here. I'd rather go play in the rain for 9 hours over seeing that. But you can watch it in pieces and parts and chunks and little things, buddy. You could do it. You could do it. Holy shit. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Right? Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Dude, okay. Let me explain this. Let me explain why this is a fucking great idea. All right, let me explain. Yeah, I agree with Jay here. Okay, give me all that Pandora. Just God, inject it right into my rectum. Okay, just give it to me raw, daddy. Anyway, sorry, what? No, that's not a weird fantasy I have for James Cameron to fucking project it into my butt. But whatever. Hold on, let's move on here. Let's get back to what we're talking about. Okay. For one, the world of Avatar as presented in The Way of Water, expanding the world as they did, fucking fascinating. One of the things I heard from a lot of people who were watching the movie was that they didn't want the experience to end. They didn't want to leave Pandora. They really enjoyed it because Cameron upped his game between the first one and the second one. And because these other ones are going to be made so close together, so back to back, that a lot of the technological advances are going to carry over between these sequels, meaning that the quality of film that we saw is going to be something that's going to be prevalent going forward. Additionally, there's a lot of story that gets cut out of these movies, a lot of subplots that could be explored, a lot of world building, a lot of character moments. What if now you all of a sudden got that, where you got a lot more out of this, and that could be a great way of really building out the Avatar brand? And let's talk about that for a quick fucking second, because look, these movies, despite what some people in the chat right now are trying to say about Avatar, these movies are fucking money makers. These movies are big. These movies are massive. The number 1 and number 3 top grossing film of all time is Avatar and Avatar 2. It's only mixed. It's only only got Avengers Endgame in between them. Right. And here's the thing is fucking, what is it? You've got like, by the time Secret Wars comes out in 2026, you're going to have Avatar 4 in 2026 as well. In May, you're going to have Secret Wars, and then you're going to have Avatar 4 at the end of the year. Disney's going to be pulling in so much motherfucking cheddar in 2026. It's fucking insane. So Bob Iger knows this. Bob Iger absolutely knows this. And he needs to find a way to not only secure the top spot on the box office again, to get in that chart, he's got to make sure that that these properties are reflective in the Disney park experience. And that's why they're talking about wanting to do more Avatar with Disney. They want to do more with Disney, whether California Adventure or whatever, or do something with that Pandora Land or whatever. These movies are so fucking popular and they're so profitable that they are going to yield a lot of money in return. The reason why there wasn't a lot that came out of the first Avatar in regards to, let's say, like people's memory on it, because there's a lot of people like, no one ever talks about Avatar. No one ever is. Fucking 13 years, goddammit. It was a long ass time. It was 13 years and they didn't do anything to really expand the lore. There's some comics and shit, but they didn't really do a lot to expand the world during that time. We knew a sequel was coming, but they didn't spend that chunk of time to build out the world of Pandora in a way that was going to really help expand what we saw in The Way of Water. And that's largely because The Way of Water was almost kind of like a bit of a rehashing of the first Avatar. There's a lot of similar plot points. There's a lot of similar rollover. It was a way to ease us into this new chapter, as well as the expansion of Pandora, the expansion of the world, and everything else that's going on in between. We've talked about the idea of having Avatar-based Disney Plus shows. He's talked about this, being James Cameron, has talked about the idea of having Avatar-based Disney Plus shows. We know that. So what's interesting, what's fascinating about it is that, it's so goddamn popular. All right. Like it could easily find itself becoming a Disney Plus show or a franchise that expands the world. You know, should it? That's up for debate. If it's done well, then yeah. If it's not, then no. But that's the thing is like, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. There's a lot to be mined from this franchise. Like RDA going after unobtainium, there's a lot of unobtainium in the storyline of Avatar that we can get a lot more out of, and to make it something that a lot of people who have been kind of naysayers might find themselves falling in love with. That's just my take on it. That's just my take on it, right? And everything else here. Jess for a 5, thank you very much, buddy. Says, did you watch the video of Disney going to make their own Na'vi that I sent you a while back? I didn't. If you want to send it to me again on Discord, we'll take a look. Whatever. So, again, I'm telling you, like, I'm all down for this, right? But let's go on to see here a little bit more of what he's saying. Let's just see.
I think it's actually a great link that you put out there with the Justice League stuff. Like, you know, Zack Snyder pitching them like, how'd you guys like 4 hours of content or whatever? You know,
Right.
and you didn't have to pay to, you know, for the entire 4 hours, right? Because we're taking stuff that we already had.
Right.
So this would just be another thing, you know, in addition to, you know, here's Avatar 3, the theatrical cut, it's coming to Disney Plus, you know, 4 months after release. Here's another thing that they can offer their subscribers. And maybe if you know, I think I saw Avatar once. I don't know if I saw the first one a second time. I'm only going to see the second one once. These are kind of movies that you kind of just see. I mean, I would just kind of see once. But if you're telling me that there's something new that was left on the cutting room floor, that gives me incentive to tune into this limited series. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love. I mean, look, both these films have made over $2 billion. So why wouldn't you expand the scope of it? You know, make it exclusive for this streaming service. That's a way to get numbers. People want to see this extra content. And look, people say, oh, I don't want to watch it at home. TVs are affordable nowadays. These well-made TVs are affordable. These sound systems, it's $200 for a sound bar, a good sound bar. So you can have somewhat of a replicated theater experience in your house in a way that we couldn't 10 to 15 years ago. So it makes all the sense. Plus, you can watch it in 4K now on some of the streaming services. So to me, it makes all the sense in the world to offer more content. And don't be surprised if this is James's way of testing the waters to create spin-offs from the Avatar series that would be just on Disney Plus or whatever. Right. And the theatricals would be something else, just like DC and Marvel.
Which you have to know is coming, right?
Yes.
With Marvel spin-offs and the Star Wars spin-offs and stuff. It's an inevitability that there's.
It really is an inevitability. It really is. I know not everybody out there likes that, but it's true. That's business. That's business. That's kind of, I don't know, maybe that's fucking progress, I guess. I'm not too sure. But it is what it is. Either way, look, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with that, to be honest with you. If they do it, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then also because this is what Jess had sent me. I guess you can do a thing now where you can make your own Navi. I'm not going to watch the whole video. But here, we'll check this out here. So is this at Disney? All right. So this woman here is turning herself into a Navi in some capacity. I'm just going to mute it. So, you can get yourself 3D printed as a Navi. What? Do you want to be a big 9 foot tall fucking cat person? Come on down and do it. All right. So she's getting the image scanning there. Okay. We'll just kind of skip through this. All right. So she is picking out that's like a Fallout 4 level creator or facial creator right there. Maybe Fallout 3. Not a lot of options there, but all right. There she this looks creepy. Looks like Gollum, to be honest with you. Okay, so she picks that out. Then it's the avatar maker. Okay, cool. And then so it will scan. Okay, is this going to be digital? Or is this going to be real? Look at that. That's fucking frightening. All right, so scanner prints. Okay, that's what she looks like, and it is. It's making. Look at this. Look at this. She got her own little fucking custom made Navi right there. That's okay. Like, I mean, for one, that's going to be really expensive. Two, that's interesting though, that they can do that. So there is, I mean, some marketing stuff there, right? There is some stuff. You can take a look at that there. I mean, like, yeah, it looks, whatever. They just clearly just did whatever to the face, and they probably had presets ready to go. But still, there you have it, folks. You can get that made, and it goes to show you, right? It does go to show you that there are, ways to market this in a way that people are going to be happy with. And again, if kids are into it, parents will spend the money. So Avatar, bring it on, 9-hour cut, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. King of Golden State here for a $5. Thank you very much, sir. Says, going back to the other night, I apologize. Did you watch Mando Web 3? Your thoughts? You get what I was saying the other night. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to try to watch it tonight after all this. But yeah, we'll talk more about it when I do. We'll talk all about it when I do here. Rhea likes this. Says, oh my God, the packaging. Mr. Toker says that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, like it does seem like people out there kind of like it. It's just the new CIA theme park. Yeah, I know, right? We need to scan your face and get your fingerprints. Surprised that they don't need a DNA, right? They don't need a DNA thing. H. Bart's here says, imagine if it was a real Navi. I mean, if it was a real Navi, there's going to be a lot of shit. What do you mean, Christ? I'm going to get to it when bitch, I haven't watched it yet. Chill out. But thank you. I appreciate you. Okay. So couple quick things before we get to the Ben Affleck bit here. Now we're into the DC side of it because we need to fucking talk about this, by the way. So James Gunn is once again under attack from Zack Snyder fucking fanboys that are still very much doing this. Zack Snyder, I'm off doing my own thing while my fan base is attacking my peers. And this is still a true image. Every time I bring it up, it's still a very true image. But in this particular situation, James Gunn is defending his wife's DC movie appearances because that's just what he has to do now, because he took over and everyone thought, oh, Amelia Harcourt, she's still going to be around. She's still going to be around. Yeah, she's been working on this stuff for a while. She was cast in Suicide Squad. We know she popped up in Black Adam. She's clearly going to be in the Peacemaker season 2, probably the Waller show. And she's just going to end up being one of those characters that floats around to different franchises as they start building out their larger DC universe. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. Now, again, a lot of people have come after her for a multitude of reasons because they think that he kept her around over Henry Cavill, right? People are just, this is literally some shit that I've seen. People are literally just like going, you kept your wife over Henry Cavill. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Was the pussy worth it, James? Was the pussy worth your dignity? Like that kind of bullshit. Because they're fucking insane. Mental midgets. That's what the fuck they are. They're just remedial with the hard ass R. They're so stupid. They're so we covered this shit, right? We looked at this shit last night when you had Skywalker the Jedi like, you're like, they can't keep me out of this fucking thing. They couldn't keep me out of Stone Quarry. Like, bitch, I proved you went to a different fucking place. Nowhere near Stone Quarry. An entire different county away from Stone Quarry. Like, it's these people, they're not smart. It's just the best way to describe it, right? It's just ridiculous. It's so stupid. So absolutely stupid. But anyway, James Gunn has to respond to this, right? Because somebody came at him today and said, why do you, it's like, stop casting your wife in these movies. Now, there's a reason why it happened today. I'll let you kind of figure it out. I'm not going to tell you what's going on with that. I'm not going to tell you why, but you can kind of assume what exactly is happening today and this weekend that would maybe make you think that that might be a point of criticism. Okay. Just that's all I'm going to say about that one. Now, he actually came back here and said that he had nothing to do with the casting in either movie, meaning, Black Adam. Now, he goes on to say, the only movie I've ever cast my wife in was The Suicide Squad. I had nothing to do with the casting of any other movie. Anything else was shot a year or so ago while I was deep in Volume 3, but I know some of you are deeply in need of reasons to hate. And that's just true. That's just true. Is that Gunn has been busy working on other stuff, and the stuff going on at DC predates his arrival to the studio, right? There's, Oatler says, nothing to do with it. Dude, again, she was cast in another movie that he was making, and they wanted to use her as a kind of a way to come through. That's really what it boils down to. All right. It's not a thing. My God, man. My God. Now, again, I don't want to talk about specifically why this is coming up and the context of it. I know the context. I've seen the context. It's on Twitter, but it is also kind of spoilery, to be fair. And I don't want to ruin that for anybody. So I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I'll say this. If you're still mad about Jennifer Holland, who is a working actress with an agency of her own, working in a franchise that she happened to join before her husband ended up taking over the company or taking on that position, by a couple of years, she joined up with that whole thing, then you need to reevaluate your life and you need to go touch grass. That's really what it boils down to. But like I said, it's only going to get worse because today, Zack Snyder posted this. Now, yesterday, we talked about the SnyderCon announcement and how that's going to be something that's happening in late April, 28th, 29th, 30th, most likely Pasadena. It's a virtual event as well as an in-person event, and they want to make sure that people feel involved. So today, Zack posted this: Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder's Justice League. And a quote that says, life is a cycle from birth to death to rebirth. And so the hero's journey is a cycle as well, a continuous journey of growth and transformation. Now, there's a lot to glean from this specific quote, which is that the hero's journey does eventually come to an end, that everything has a beginning and an end. That's the full circle. The full circle is that it wraps everything up. So what you need to take from this is that SnyderCon 2023 is not a continuation. It's a culmination. And I think people really need to get that through their fucking stupid thick ass skulls. They need to, because that's exactly what's going on here. Zack Snyder is going to hold a 3-day event that is going to culminate his work at DC and wrap it up with a SnyderCon event that's going to promote AFSP, which in the next story we talk about is something that, again, really should be talked about a lot more. And then he's going to talk about Rebel Moon. Because again, what does this specific quote say at the very bottom? A continuous journey of growth and transformation, moving from one property to another, from one studio to another, from one creative endeavor to another. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. And unfortunately, a lot of people out there simply do not want to acknowledge this because, oh my God, Marcus, Snyder is not the Donald Trump of directors. Holy shit. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? You got some takes today, I swear. HBart says, so this means Zack Snyder's Justice League too. Well, if you listen to certain people, they're going to come out there and tell you, Chief, that it is going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League too, because for some reason they've decided to stick their entire reality into this fucking world. My God, guys, this world. Now, so I'm just saying, so there's another thing too. I got to bring this up. I just want to take a look at this here. Okay. So today, obviously Mikey Sutton talked about this, right? Using Kieran Bug as like the author. It's clearly written by Mikey. It's written in his voice. But the thing here though, is you got to remember last night over on Sill's stream talking about this, Mikey said that the Emerald Edition is going to be what they show at SnyderCon. He didn't even know that this was happening. He didn't know this was happening. He was shocked by the announcement, but then magically found out that it's the Emerald Edition. Okay. That's how gullible the people who read Geekosity Mag are. All right. That's yeah, exactly. Mikey, how has he fallen? Exactly. He just fucking fell. He just fell right on his ass. All right. So it says here, Zack Snyder posted a cryptic dark side video online teasing an upcoming announcement of the last 3 days of April. What does it all mean? Is it Snyder returning to direct Justice League 2 for Warner Brothers Discovery? Has Netflix licensed the Snyderverse yet? Alas, none of the above, because this is all fucking fiction. This is make-believe. This is all, it's not real. Now, sources indicate that Zack Snyder is hinting at another SnyderCon. Who were this? Motherfucking piece of shit Michael goddamn Sutton or Robert Sutton. Okay? You fucking asshole. You don't have a source for SnyderCon. The source came from the Nerd Queens announcing it on fucking Enosh's channel last night, or Dave the Film Junkie teasing it on Film Junkie Live last night. Those are the sources. Why don't you link those sources? Why don't you actually fucking say what it? Because you say sources indicate. Those aren't your sources. You didn't know this was happening. You were shocked by it when it happened because you didn't fucking know. So just acknowledge the fact that you don't know, you lying sack of fucking human excrement. You misleading, muckraking pile of fucking human flesh. You fetid asshole motherfucker. Stop lying to people. Stop it. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus. Anyway, talks here about, the previous SnyderCon. Insiders explained that this is a similar meet and greet with Zack Snyder. Again, this is not, he doesn't have any fucking information on this. He doesn't have any information on this. You know what I'm saying? You can already tell. Like, he says it. He fucking says it. God damn it. All right. So insiders explained that this is a similar meet and greet to Zack Snyder. As far as the movies are concerned, they expect him to screen Zack Snyder's Justice League. Here we go. With the cut footage of Wayne T. Carr as the Jon Stewart version of Green Lantern. Nonetheless, that hasn't been confirmed. But he was saying it last night. He was saying it last night on the fucking live stream. He said it last night that they were going to do the Emerald Edition. All right. It wasn't saying it's not confirmed. It wasn't saying none of that shit. He was outright claiming it last night on the stream. So we fucking know that he's absolutely full of shit. All right. And you know what? Let me find here. Let me find that. Let me find that clip. Give me a hot second to find that clip because I've got it in a DM group. All right. So this is what I'm talking about here, folks. This is what I'm talking about here. You can listen to him because he's hearing this call and he's talking about it right away. And this is not, there's no fucking whatever. All right. Again, if we can expose this guy, we got to expose him. And Jesus. All right. Listen to this.
This is thanks to you.
Let's not forget, guys, as excited we are for the Emerald Cut, this is an opportunity for Zack Snyder to go on camera and say, yes, I'm still interested. And I'm interested in directing this for Netflix. No more, no more, well, Snyder told me this. No. That don't fly anymore.
Let me get your thoughts on this, Mike.
Oh, but fucking sources told you that this was happening when you didn't know. Sources told you that it's going to be a similar meet and greet to the first Snyder Con that happened a couple of years ago, but you didn't fucking know. Okay. Like every time this guy opens his mouth, it just becomes more and more and more ridiculous. Goes on to say here, the video that Snyder posted showed a similar digital interface to Ray Fisher's Cyborg in ZSJL. Then the screen cuts to black. Zach didn't make that image. He didn't make that video. It was apparently the Nerd Queens who made that video. So who knows what kind of stock footage that was, but they just gave a little thing. You can tell that Ray Porter recorded it in a voice. It didn't have any audio post-processing. It wasn't sweetened. It wasn't the same fucking voice that we heard in ZSJL. Yes, it was the same actor doing the voice, but he didn't have all of the audio rigmarole that goes into it. I'm just saying it's fucking ridiculous. Mikey sounds drunk. He probably is. Who fucking knows? Spooky Lens here says, I lose brain cells when he talks. Yeah, no shit. Let's see. Zithis here says, I can do better at cussing than Matt Jarbo, but the super chat won't let me. You can do a direct PayPal link in the video description, and then you could just send a note there and I'll read it off for you. I'm just saying there's alternatives to super chats. Just letting you guys know. Just hang out there. All right. Saggy here says, fun fact, that group hates the Nerd Queens. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they do. They have made up a lot of comments about them, especially the Mr. West Ashley has said a lot about them for being Wiccan. They basically call them devil worshippers. Like the long and short of it's that. Static Path here says, Ray Porter sounded so lackluster in that video. Exactly. That's the whole point. It was something that he did very quickly. April 28th, 29th, and 30th. Save the date. And you're like, all right, yeah, it's definitely Ray Porter doing Darkseid, but it just sounds like he did it real quick. Like, Ray, we just need it now. Like, just fucking fire it off, dude, and send it off to us. Okay. Oh, yeah. Like he does that shit. That's exactly what it is. So it's not, and again, I'm not saying it's bad. I like Ray Porter. He's a very nice man. What I'm saying is just that there wasn't any audio sweetening on that. It was just a nice little tease. That's all it is. All right. Big Time Daredevil says he has lost his brain cells after he left you. And again, like I pointed out, the thing that ended Mikey and I's friendship was the fact that he did something, in my opinion, very nice, was going to add me to his comic book, which I thought was very nice. But then he allowed my last name and the character that I was portraying in that comic book to become a pejorative over on Sill's channel with those guys because we disagreed over the Snyder Cut. And yet he did not stand up and say anything about his friend being treated like shit because we simply disagreed. That's all it is. And then ever since then, I kind of wised up to what's going on. And the large truth of it is that Mikey Sutton's full of shit. And I think a lot of people know that. I think a lot of people are wising up to it. I agree with H. Bart's here. Zach needs to just stop and end this shit. He won't, though. He won't. It's like I was telling someone the other day, they said, they were like, oh, this is the chance for Zach to say something. I'm like, he's not going to say anything because he won't say no to a paying customer, right? He won't say no. Now he'll dance around the subject. He'll say like, oh, at Netflix, we're doing this, or at Netflix, we're doing this, whatever, doing that. But no, he won't dance around it. Like, again, if Warner Brothers Discovery is going to drop 150 million, at least that's it's going to be less than that. But if they want to buy Nancy Meyer's rom-com from that Netflix passed on, they're not going to spend the money on fucking Saturday because they don't see a value in it. They just simply do not see a value in it, right? Andy here asking, do you think that Mikey believes in all that? To me, he just does it for content. Yeah, I actually think at this point, well, okay, so I think it boils down to a couple different factors. One is I think he now believes in all of it. Before, I don't think he really did. I think he just reported on maybe things he thought of or things that he heard. I mean, there's things he has been right on, sure. But I feel like back then, it was a little bit different. What happened is that his ego started taking over. Okay. So like when I would talk to Mikey, like daily, I would talk to him daily on Facebook. If anyone mentioned him, like in an article, he would send that article to me. What that means, if he's sending that article to me, he's wanting me to praise him for being talked about and maybe share the article around, so on and so forth. But it also means that other people that he's in his circle that I didn't know of, but I can now realize that that's the case, he sends them the same articles, right? He sends them. He is so craving attention and craving positive feedback that when the time came for him to kind of connect with Syl, and Syl used his ability to be a hype man to hype all of this shit up, then they started praising Mikey like he's the second coming of Christ. They praise Mikey Sutton like they will literally bow down at his feet. And if he asked them to perform oral, they would do it gleefully. They would take a shot in their mouth if it came from the fucking boss. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how it is with them. That's what he's been able to do. And it's because of the people giving him the attention. He's not listening to reason. And as a result of that, I believe that his website is probably dying. And he probably thinks that with this Dreamwalker pickup for a Netflix show, not a Netflix show, but a Filipino TV show, that this is probably going to be like the big thing. And it's even if that show gets made. So there's that. We'll have to go from there. Hold on. Did you send it? On what? On PayPal or whatever? Let me check my email because I don't have my email up. I'm sorry. So I didn't get the notification if that's the case. I don't even know if you did. He just said super chat. So I don't know what it is you're trying to send. I didn't see one come in. Oh, here we go. Sorry. To everyone in chat, go do a thumbs up if you want pie. Sorry, I did miss that one. There. Thank you very much. I got you, man. I got you. It just came up on there. So anyway, that's what's going on with that shit. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Sagier says, oh, damn, am I missing Syl drama? Not really. Just calling out Mikey for being an idiot and all that crap. Saggy here says, I already have pie. That doesn't surprise me. So we good on that one there. But let's talk about the last story of the night, right? Because this is the big one, I think. And this is the one that I think a lot of people out there are going to kind of forget about why it's important. And that, of course, is the Ben Affleck story popping up in the Hollywood Reporter, where he effectively said that like the Justice League reshoots in 2017 were so bad that it was either drink or die. Like that is where he was at. And I don't think he's mincing words. 2017 was not a good year for Ben. Now you got to remember the year started off kind of shitty, just in general, right? You had the response to Batman v Superman, which definitely did not help morale while filming that movie. You had him drinking a lot. You had his marriage falling apart. You had a dad missing his kids. And then you also had a guy who put out a movie, the first movie that he had directed since winning Best Picture in 2013 for Argo. Here came Live by Night, which was supposed to be like a mob storyline, and Warner Brothers dropped it in January of 2017, I believe, in order, I think it was January 2017, or it could have been early 2018. I think it was January 2017. They dropped it because it was just bad. I think it ended up costing Warner Brothers about $75 million in losses. All right. And that's something to consider. That is something to consider. It cost them a lot of money in losses, but because they're a loyal studio, they were like, okay with that because he'd won them Best Picture. All right. Now I haven't seen Live by Night. H-Bart's here. says he loved it. Jimbo says he liked it. So that's good. But they didn't like it at the time. They didn't like it at the time. It ended up just coming and going. It just did not have the impact that The Town had or Argo had. And I love both Argo and The Town. Those are fucking fantastic. I need to watch Live by Night. And I really want to see Air, because it's good to see Ben Affleck coming back in to everything. It's to see him coming back in to wanting to be a creative again, especially as he starts kind of moving his way into, the latter part of his career, because, he realizes that he's got one life to live and he doesn't want to ruin it in the way that he felt that he was doing before. So he's much happier now. And I think a lot of people, I'm cracking open my sparkling water. Don't worry, it ain't a beer. I don't drink. But he's definitely at that particular place. So saying here, Ben Affleck on Air, the new CEO gig, and those memes. I am who I am. Sad Affleck, baby. Sad Affleck, man. You got to love it. Says there's a film called Live by Night. Yeah, it is. It is. So there's that. Okay, where is my page? There we go. Okay, so, it's been 25 years since Ben Affleck became the youngest person to win the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay at the age of 25 for Good Will Hunting, which he wrote with Matt Damon. 16 years since he directed his critically acclaimed first feature Gone Baby Gone, and a decade since he won Best Picture for Argo, a film Affleck directed, starred in, and produced. His 4 features as a director, all thrillers and dramas, instead of the kind of franchise films that drive modern box office, have made nearly $450 million worldwide. Notice now they don't mention his 4 films as a director. They don't say Live by Night. Okay. But the thing is, though, is that he's working with Matt Damon, and he kind of goes into it, and he says in this interview that he was told not to work with Matt Damon very often because he didn't want to get typecast, which is one of the reasons why these two guys who were friends when they were 16 didn't really work much together after winning for Good Will Hunting. As a result of that, it wasn't until that they were working on The Last Duel that they kind of realized that they wanted to spend more time together and they wanted to work on this stuff. And to me, that's great. Like, I love that quite a bit. I really, really, really like that, because it shows that he's like, look, he's loyal to his friend. He understands like where he's at in his life. He understands what's going on in his life. And to him, he has recalibrated what's important. He has decided to really focus on that kind of stuff. So that's great. Okay. Like Affleck is 50, Matt Damon is 52. I mean, that's not old. That's still relatively young. All right. But he says here, Ben and I have both been making, this is from Matt Damon. Ben and I have both been making movies for 30 years. We know the things that actually matter to people, but ask Ben to see the spreadsheets. So the company's first movie and Affleck's latest as a director is Air, the story of how Michael Jordan's family and a group of executives at Nike revolutionized the business with one historic sneaker deal. Air, which Amazon will premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival on March 18th before releasing it theatrically April 5th, which I'm going to go see it. It looks great. I mean, again, he's like, I'm an Oregon kid. So Nike, I'm a Portland kid. Nike's kind of an institution there. You know what I mean? Like my best friend growing up lived like a block away from the Nike's campus. So we would go by it all the time. So like, it's stupid, but it's kind of like, like it kind of hits a little home for me on that one. Like I wonder if they're going to show Portland in the 90s or whatever it was. That's going to be a thing. So anyway, going past all that, looking past into this shit, we really are just here to talk about the other stuff, right? And we're here to talk about everything involving Ben Affleck and everything else. So here we go. Let's see. All right, I'm just trying to find that down here. Okay, so here's a question. You're launching a company at a time when the movie business is changing. He says, when The Way Back came out, I knew. It came out the weekend they shut the theaters down with COVID, but that's not an excuse because I knew it was coming out. Just tracking, I was like, okay, here's a movie about a guy. Son dies, gets divorced, alcoholic. Nobody's going to go to the theater to see this fucking movie. They're just not. I felt it. Succession is on, Ozark, Narcos, Game of Thrones. You're not competing with 1980s crime drama Simon & Simon on an 11-inch black and white TV. There's really beautiful stuff being made. My daughter is 17. She lives her life largely in opposition to the work her parents have spent their lives dedicated to, where she'll say things like, I'm not sure film is really, do you think it's a genuine art form? I like the fact that she has this silver rapier tongue, but anyway, I went into it going like, okay, these movies aren't fucking working anymore, and these are the ones I like. And then the interviewer here says, as opposed to. Then he goes, the Justice League experience. The fact that those stories became somewhat repetitive to me and less interesting. Yeah, I did finally figure out how to play that character Batman, and I nail it in The Flash for the 5 minutes I'm there. It's really great. A lot of it's just tone. You've got to figure out what's your version of this person. Who is the guy that fits what you can do? I tried to fit myself into a Batman. And by the way, I like a lot of the stuff we did, especially the first one, Batman v Superman. And again, yeah, I've said this. Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, largely underrated. I think at this point now that it's pretty well liked by a lot of people, but the theatrical was just fucking terrible. Okay. But now he goes into it here and he says, but then they go, but not Justice League. What went wrong there? And he's like, Justice League, you could teach a seminar on all the reasons why this is not how to do it, ranging from production to bad decisions to horrible personal tragedy, and just ending with the most monstrous taste in my mouth. The genius and the silver lining is that Zack Snyder eventually went to AT&T and was like, look, I can get you 4 hours of content. And it's principally all just the slow motion he shot in black and white. And one day shooting with me and him, he was like, and one day of shooting with me and him, he was like, hey, do you want to come shoot in my backyard? And I was like, I think they're a union, Zach. I think we have to make a deal. But I went and did it. And now Zack Snyder's Justice League is my highest rated movie on IMDb. Now, the thing with that's a bit of a crack, right? It's a bit of a joke and whatever. No one ever takes IMDb ratings seriously, like ever. Okay. But really the thing you have to remember here is that, like, yeah, he's happy with the Snyder Cut. He's happy with BVS. I'm sure he wanted to play Batman, going into the Flash for the 5 minutes he's in the movie is going to allow him to nail that performance and then put a closing on that specific chapter. Now, again, there is the Aquaman cameo that I don't think we're going to see the light of day, because the Aquaman cameo was shot after Ezra Miller went all cray-cray and ended up, causing them to delay all of these movies. That ended up causing them to have to find a way to, now that The Flash was coming out after, or coming out before. Was it coming out before or coming out after? I think it was coming out because they leapfrogged it, right? It was coming out before or after Aquaman, and they needed to leapfrog it in order to have a Batman cameo for part of the story, which is why Affleck decided to come in to be a company man, to be a team player, and to help out. That's kind of the whole point, right? Now, Enterprising here says Affleck should have never put that cowl back on if it tormented him so much. It's all about figuring out the best way to do it. That's what he's talking about here, okay? He's talking about how he finally figured out how to be Batman, and he nailed it in the 5 minutes that he was in the Flash. That's okay. That's allowing him to put closure, to put a nail into that coffin, to finally put it behind him, but to give him the out that he wants. That's kind of the whole point, all right? Like, that's the whole point. And yes, Ben Affleck was the bombs and Phantoms, 100%. All right? Also, how you like them apples? Applesauce, bitch. Dude, I've seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen that movie. But anyway, going on here. Now, and he says here, isn't that because Zack Snyder's fans are so intense online? And he goes, say what you want. It's my highest rated career movie. I've never had one that went from nadir to pinnacle. Retroactively, it's a hit. All of a sudden, I was getting congratulated for the bomb I'm in. But I was going to direct the Batman, and Justice League made me go, I'm out. I never want to do any of this again. I'm not suited. That was the worst experience I've ever seen in a business, which is full of some shitty experiences. It broke my heart. There was an idea of someone, Joss Whedon, coming in like, I'll rescue you. We'll do it in 60 days of shooting, and I'll write the whole thing around what you have. I've got the secret. And it wasn't the secret. That was hard. And I started to drink too much. I was back in the hotel in London, and it was either jump out the window. It was either that or jump out the window. And I just thought, this isn't the life I want. My kids aren't here. I'm miserable. You want to go to work and find something interesting to hang on to rather than just wearing a rubber suit. And most of the time, you're just standing against the computer screen going, if this nuclear waste gets loose, that's fine. I don't condescend to that or put it down, but it got to a point where I found it creatively not satisfying. So you're just sweaty and exhausted. And I thought, I don't want to participate in this in any way. I don't want to squander any more of my life, of which I have a limited amount. Then the question comes, so if DC came to you now and said, do you want to direct something? And he goes, I would not direct something for the Gunn DC. Absolutely not. I have nothing against James Gunn. Nice guy. I'm sure he's going to do a great job. I just wouldn't want to go in and direct in the way they're doing that. I'm not interested in that. So there are people out there that are taking that as Ben, like kind of shunning Zack or shunning James Gunn and shunning the new DC because it's, whatever. It's an affront to Zack Snyder, yada, 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 Henry Cavill, yada, yada, yada. Priorities change. And priorities can change relatively rapidly. Right? Now, James Gunn had said a while back that he had actually had conversations with Ben and they wanted Ben to direct and they just had to find the right project. And if Ben decided that he doesn't want to do that, that he's focusing now on artists' equity, and that's the kind of thing him and Matt Damon want to do, and he finds creative solace in that, and he finds inspiration, then by all means, let that be a thing. By all means, let that be what he does. Let him have that peace of mind, that satisfaction. The biggest problem that I have ultimately with the Snyder fan base is that they do not get what the fuck real life is like. They don't get it. They think that numbers don't really matter. They don't understand business. They don't understand anything. They just know complaining until they potentially get what they want. That's where we are. That's where we are. William is saying on a live stream that don't listen to what Cavill and Affleck say. They can still come back. Yeah, of course they can. Okay. Wait, what? All right. Okay, let's have a fucking conversation. Like, Jesus Christ, I love William. I do. I think he's a good guy. He's so off fucking base on this shit. Basically, it's like this. Affleck can come back to direct if he wants to. Sure, 100%. He could, 100%, if he wants to. Cavill could probably come back as a different character, not as Superman. That part of his life is over. It has been over since 2018. It was pseudo revived. There was a little bit of energy kind of pumped into it for Black Adam. And that was something Cavill should not have agreed to, and that the studio should not have agreed to. And they shouldn't have done it because it just ended up making everyone look bad when everything changed literally days later. But that's also how the system works. Nothing is ever for certain. And all things considered, you can't build a new castle when the foundation that came before it is shaky as fuck. So you got to find a way to start over to the best of your ability. And that's effectively what's going on. It sucks because, yeah, sure, great. You want to see it. You definitely want to see more of these characters. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to. But then again, Henry Cavill will have the opportunity. He will have the ability to pop up for Warhammer, a franchise that he actually has control over. And again, same thing with Ben Affleck. Don't you want them to have that creative spark? Don't you want them to have that creative freedom, to have worked hard in their career to get to a point where they can be the shot caller, that they can be the boss? Why do you want them to have to spend years of their lives shooting these movies so you get 2 hours of entertainment off of what will easily be a 2.5 to 3 year experience for them? For them. The 4-hour version of Justice League that you saw, guess how long it took to make that? 6 months of filming in London in 2016. That's not including the extra 2 months back in London that it took them in the summer of 2017 in order to do the 60 days of reshoots, the 80 pages of reshoots, to get the Frankensteinian version of Justice League on the screen in November of 2017. That is a large chunk of their life, of their professional career, of their prime in regards to their acting abilities, and to other jobs that they're missing out on. Because that's how long these movies take to make. And people out there tend to forget that because they just sit down and they watch it and they move on with their life. Like, well, that was an engaging couple of hours. Okay, On to the next thing, never minding how much it actually takes to get it shot to what you see. And it's sad and it's pathetic. And maybe I'm a deeply cynical asshole, but it's just stupid in my opinion. Anyway. All right. So on that note, that's all the stories I got. There's a little thing here to take a look at, from, this is what Rational wanted to show. It's a Star Wars thing. It's only a minute long. This is, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces DOS Unreal Engine Release 1.0 free download. Okay. I don't know what this, I haven't seen this yet. Is this recent? I don't even know. Let's find out. Oh, that's updated. All right, I'll fully admit I might actually need to get my hands. Oh, here's Dave talking about that. Does he say anything here? What does he say? Let's find out.
Because yes, I was kind of in the know about this, but I couldn't say anything. And it was all just kind of waiting on what Zach was going to be doing. But yes, April 28th to the 30th is going to be when the event is going to be happening. And naturally, you can think of which movies are going to be shown this time around. Obviously, we now have a trilogy when it comes to Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League, which, hey, if you want to see it in IMAX, guess what? You're going to be able to see it in IMAX, which is great. I cannot wait to see it in IMAX.
See, I didn't know they're doing it in IMAX. Now, that's fascinating. I need to debate William. William doesn't want to debate me. He doesn't want to debate me. All right? He doesn't want to debate me. But yeah, obviously, that particular little trailer was pretty great. That was pretty good. I'm very excited. That I have to check. I need to give that one a download because it looks pretty cool. Especially when he took the fucking stormtrooper in half with his lightsaber. Oh, finally, Jedi Fallen Order didn't do that. It's you have the thing that cuts through anything. Oh, but it just only hits somebody on the side. They're fine. They're good. They're okay. That's great. Anyway, there's that. So we'll take a quick, if you guys have any final questions, we'll go for a couple more minutes. And then I'm going to go to bed, but, let's see. I haven't seen Film Junkie in a while. Neither have I, to be fair. Neither have I. I check out the vodka stream every once in a while, but the thing with Dave, I like Dave. I like the people on the vodka stream. But the conversations always just kind of delve back into the same thing. It's always just it all just turns into Zack Snyder stuff. It really does. So Jay here says he got his trilogy. Why can't he move on? No. I think he is moving on, Jay. I think Zack is moving on. It's the fans that haven't moved on. That's kind of the big thing. Sanzi asking here, I have to ask, why were some people in the know of an event that seems normal and decided not to say anything? Because they were told not to say anything. They got the notice. Dave knew about it. Nerd Queens knew about it. Enosh knew about it. I mean, now that it's over, it's announced, they'll be yeah, guys, hey, I had knowledge of this, right? Ha ha ha, I was in the know. But no one else knew, right? No, Scoopers didn't know. Just like when James Gunn and Peter Safran took over, Scoopers didn't know. It blindsided everyone. So, William wants to hear good reasons. The thing is, William will argue stuff from perspectives that I just don't feel are the thing. I don't know. I like William. Again, no issue with William. he gets on these, he comes at it from a weird mentality. Like, it's not like he'll go like, if there's okay, William looks at it from the perspective of a comic book shop runner, okay? Because he runs a comic book shop. So that's where his perspective is. If there is demand for a product, that product can then come into fruition. The difference, though, is it takes a lot more to make a movie than it does to do a comic book. And I think that's what he's not realizing, is breaking down the concept of what it takes to make a movie like this is not something that can be done in a short period of time and maintain a high level of quality. It just doesn't work. But we got Andy here for a $5, buddy. Thank you. Says, do you think the future Avengers movie will make the same amount of money as the previous without Johansson, Downey Jr., and Evans? Yeah, it all depends on what the spectacle is. Okay. So like, Secret Wars is good. If it opens up the door for the multiverse and they bring back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and he pops up in that motherfucker, or like, James Marsden, Famke Jensen, Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, like whatever, dude, that's going to be big. The X-Men, that will be big. If they get Ben Affleck back as Daredevil, that would be, I don't know if it'd be big, but it'd be cool, to be fair. And they bring back other people as well. If Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield can come back for another outing, if they're able to work that deal, that will be big. At the end of the day, what it requires is a good enough story to support it. And if the story is there, people will come back to see it. If the story and the experience match, it will do gangbusters. Will it do as much as Infinity War and Endgame? No, I don't think so. Unless certain boxes are checked, right? If Iron Man comes back, which I do think he probably will. If Scarlett Johansson comes back, Chris Evans comes back, which I do think they probably will. At least for that, then we're going to see something that's going to blow the hell up, right? Because they got to wow us. They got to one-up us. It's hard to do after Endgame. Endgame was big. It was a culmination of 10 years of storytelling. And they did it well. 11 years of storytelling. And they did it very well. Now they got to find a way to do that again, to capture lightning in a bottle again. And the world's just in a different place. The pandemic kind of fucked things up. Disney Plus kind of fucked things up. It's just so they got to figure it out. And they're going through some growing pains right now. And I think that's why the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie probably got delayed and shit, or, put on a shelf. But that's kind of where I see it. So, but I do hope that we do get to see that they do make money, because I do like those movies quite a bit. So thank you. This is here for 5. Thank you. Says, I've taken both TV production and now run a comic shop selling my late brother's comic. New comics just don't sell anymore. But see, here's the thing with that, right? Now, I'm glad that you're selling your late brother's comic. That's very cool of you to do. But, and again, like the newer comics, how many of them are just done digitally? Like the concept of like, paperback, or I should say monthly releases, those polls, those speak to a dwindling base of individuals. And I think this is fair to say. Not that I want it. I don't want it, but it is it's true. It's, more people are either getting them digitally or they're waiting for the omnibus, or in the case of manga, we've talked about this quite a bit. When you have manga, I'll say it correctly for people out there who want to correct me, but when you have manga that has a cohesive story, a coherent story that follows the same general storyline created by the same creator, it allows people a very direct way of getting involved. Whereas comics become something largely hard to do because there's so many runs and so many iterations. You have to ask yourself, well, what's canonical? What's canonical? And that becomes a question that always has to be asked, which means it becomes frustrating. And comics largely have become frustrating. And that's just the truth. And they've been there for years. The barrier for entry for comic books is frustrating for a lot of people because where the fuck do you begin? That's one of the reasons why the New 52 was an interesting initiative, was because they rebooted everything. And DC's known to do this, but they rebooted everything they built from scratch. The 5G initiative that was talked about a while back was meant to be another New 52 reboot across the board to start over again. They just need to pick a continuity and stick with it. The problem, though, is that, like, how do you make that work? It's difficult. But again, they've kind of like backed themselves into a corner now that we live in the age of having continuity, and it's something that people give a fuck about. So there's that. Saki, you'd better say it right. Yeah, I know. And even this is here says most people are asking for Japanese manga. Exactly. You know, I mean, like if you were to ask, okay, like if I were a betting man, okay, I'm just going to say this. If I were a betting man, when I do the anime month, whether it's anime April or anime May, I don't know yet. Probably going to be May. Might be April. I don't know. When I do anime month, I almost guarantee you those episodes will probably do better on YouTube and podcast than when I cover either contemporary movies or when I cover older films. There is a very big audience for anime. And while I am not like an otaku or a weeb, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the dedication to the craft. And you know what? You guys try to red pill me on a lot of shit. All right. You guys too. You guys, and I like it. I like to have those conversations with you all. You know, what I mean by that though is like, if I were in a position like if I was smart, and I'm not smart, if I were smart, I would either start like $3 otaku or like $3 anime or whatever, and just start reviewing Attack on Titan and like some of these newer upcoming movies and like what you guys are talking about, because I guarantee you I would probably find a bigger audience faster than literally any other fucking marketplace right now, any other niche. Comic book movies, man, everyone talks about those. Horror movies, you know, like fucking, you know, whatever, man. Like there's genres people talk about, but like there is a ravenous desire for acceptance in the mainstream for anime, and it's not there yet. It's not there yet. And I do think that there's also a desire to have a rational viewpoint of this stuff rather than like some people who maybe get like a little bit too animated about some of this. Like there was one guy I was watching, someone sent me a video about this one guy really upset at Corridor Digital for their anime on the rock paper cross swords, right? And it was mostly because like the pretentious nature of the way Crossroad Digital like presented it. And I understand that it's just light rotoscoping essentially, but they also used AI as a way to really kind of work on a lot of the stuff. And what they did was interesting and fascinating. You know what I mean? Just from an animation perspective, it's using old school techniques with a new school vibe. And that's interesting. So, you know, but again, it's just like, you know, but this guy, I listened to this review and this guy was so pretentious about it. He was so I was rolling my eyes. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Come the fuck on. Like, dude, you're a white boy hanging out with a room full of anime shit. Like, bro, you're like, fuck, bro. Like, if you went to Japan, you would probably be laughed out of like a lot of places. Like, chill, man. Cause he's not, it's just like, but he also hit that stereotype. Like I joked around with it about going to E3, you know, like it's like white dudes with glasses and beards and you have your small, medium and large, right? It's just a cloning facility for like fucking obese white guys. There's a demographic. I fall into that myself, you know? So it is just, it's kind of crazy. I can do them back to back. No, I know. Are you, I mean, I'm surprised I wasn't murdered for like saying I didn't really care for like, you know, like Akira and Ghost in the Shell and shit. Like, I mean, not that they were bad. Just, I liked Ghost in the Shell quite a bit, you know, but I also enjoyed the live action version with Scarlett Johansson. Like that would get me fucking crucified. So, Peach asking, do you think you'll like anime? I think there is anime that I will enjoy. There is anime that I do enjoy. I do like Miyazaki films for the most part. I have been very open about my dislike of Howl's Moving Castle, but I'm not against watching it again to see if I just can look at it through a fresh set of eyes. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I used to have a Princess Mononoke poster on my wall. I got it from Comic-Con. I love Princess Mononoke. Great movie. There are, I used to watch Detective Conan on Adult Swim. Love Detective Conan. I've watched all Full Metal Alchemist and the movie. And the show and the movie brought me to tears on a couple different occasions, especially towards the end, dealing with their dad. I did not see Brotherhood, nor did I watch the live action version, but I love Full Metal Alchemist, man. I really do. I grew up watching stuff like Wicked City and Crying Freeman. Didn't really care for Crying Freeman, but I liked Wicked City. I've seen stuff here. I've seen stuff there. It's the idea, like the one I'm probably most excited about watching when I do the anime stuff is Perfect Blue. It's not that Your Name or Spirited Away or Final Fantasy are ones I'm not looking forward to watching. It's because I've seen Final Fantasy Spirits Within. It's not anime, but I'm gonna lump it in because it's from a Japanese studio. That's gonna be my little thing there. But I like thrill. I like dramas, and I think there's a lot to be said about watching something like that. And especially watching it in that medium. So for me, that's kind of where that's how I view it. I don't think I'll ever be like going. I mean. Attack on Titan has been interesting. I've been wanting to watch it, but now that we're coming into its final season, maybe I finally will, but it's, again, it boils down quite frankly to accessibility. A lot of this stuff I feel like is not very accessible. However, I will fully admit that in many ways I'm wrong because I just haven't really looked. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's like Chainsaw Man. I've heard a lot of good things about. That's on Hulu. I have Hulu. I watched Akira, I think, on Hulu, or was it Ghost in the Shell? I watched one of them. I actually, by the way, I did buy, by the way, I do own Final Fantasy The Spirits Within on 4K, and I did buy Ghost in the Shell 25th Anniversary on 4K as well. So I have actually purchased things that are in that particular demographic on physical media because I love physical media. And so that is the thing there too. I missed Exo Squad. I don't have Peacock. What about the Two Girls, One Cup movie adaptation? I should write that as a comic book. There you go. I think I would really like the anime series Ranking of Kings. I think an anime series is probably tougher for me to get into versus watching a movie. Right? I will say, like, look, the animation in Ghost in the Shell and the animation in Akira are fucking god tier. God tier. So good. Right? So good. The animation stylings in these things are great. And I like them quite a bit. I think it's like, again, for me, it's just the pants on head stupid story at times. It's kind of like, Hideo Kojima. Man, Hideo Kojima he's awesome. But that guy he's got pants on head stupid fucking stories sometimes. Like it just really does. But I like that he's as wacky as he is. I just have trouble getting into the wacky. That's the hardest truth of it. It's like, I like the difference, the craziness, but sometimes I just have trouble getting into it. So try Digimon. No, I'm okay. Also Death Note. I have seen Death Note. Well, not all of the anime, but I did watch the live action movie, the Japanese version, as well as the American. So, this is here, says Exo Squad came out in 1993. Yeah, I know it's a 30-year-old show. But I'm just saying, I right now I don't have fucking Peacock, on that. Peach here says, gotcha. I'm interested in takes on anime. I think a lot of anime fans are. Like, I really do. I like, it's as weird as it is to say. I think I really feel like there are two genres so far that have like really, like, the fan base is actually really fascinating to talk to, because both horror and anime, I feel, are kind of open to like different interpretations, and like they like kind of hearing different people's takes on them. You know what I mean? Like I think like when it comes to like Marvel fans, you're not going to get that. You're just not going to get that. You're just not going to get people that are like, yeah, I want to hear like your interpretation. They want it a very specific way. But I feel horror will open up largely for interpretation because of how horror is basically meant to be interpreted, because oftentimes it's very personal stories. It's dealing very metaphorically, and everything else. Like you can look at that particular type of metaphor. And then when you talk of, again, anime is kind of, I think, similar because they deal a lot with like mythology and stuff, right? And just also, again, the human condition, as evidenced, again, I'm probably all over the place on this one. I apologize. But, Spherical Manor says, there goes Matt again, talking about the horror genre. Hey, man, fucking, it is, I like horrors. How horrible. There you go. What did I fuck up on? Did I read your super chat? Did I? I'm pretty sure I did. Did you say the Last of Us ride? 'Cause I got that one a little bit ago. Unless there's another one that I missed. Let me see here. I thought I got everything. Let me just quickly double check. So I don't want to miss anyone's. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I didn't see this one. Dan DiDio, who took over DC Comics, was also the same guy that bankrupted Mainframe Entertainment. It was good that he was fired. I don't know much about that guy. I've heard the name before, but I don't know much about Dan DiDio. So, but again, when was he fired? When was he fired? Let me know on that one there. Thank you. Also read here. Here's the one you're talking about. Someone enhanced the BFF, the Back to the Future ride queue and ride video with AI. It's pretty cool. Really. We won't watch that tonight, but if you send that to me on Twitter, I'll definitely take a look. Cause I am curious about about just stuff being updated with AI. So there's that. Okay. So where are we at now? Next year, Matt will tell us about horticulture. Let's see. H-Bart's here. It says, I've had so many friends try to tell me to watch anime. I tell them I enjoyed it, so they stop showing me episodes. Otherwise, if I don't, they'll make me watch a whole season. Okay. Yeah, that is also true. That's also true. If you fake it, they kind of leave you alone. It's like, oh, he's already one of us. We don't need to infect him further. But if you're like, I resist, they'll be like, no, H-Bart's watched this whole season of a show. How many episodes in this season? 285. Too much in 85. Yeah, okay, it's an hour long. Yeah, I'll take a look at it on my own, but yeah, thank you. Let's see. Blood the Last Vampire original anime movie if you're interested in horror. Yeah, no, I mean, I do need to see Vampire Hunter D. Blood the Last Vampire sounds kind of cool. Ralph Sibbletitzer says, keep up the fight against anime, protect the youth. I mean, there you go. Will I review An Irish Goodbye? It's St. Pat. What's An Irish Goodbye? Is that One Piece? I don't even know. Oh, the horror bit is a Widest Kids You Know bit. Dude, I'm getting tired, man. Yes. Also, yes, very much rip Trevor Moore. This is for 5. Thank you. It says all the old shows made by NBC and Universal are free on Peacock. This is why Exo Squad is free on Peacock. Okay. I think, all right. I'll tell you, I will install the Peacock app. How about that? I don't have the Peacock app actually installed on my TV in my bedroom, so I'll install it. Tomorrow I will be home with the kids, so I'll be able to do all that. But thank you for that. I do appreciate. LOL, the cordyceps of anime. There you go. Oh, Irish Goodbye. What? Oh, it's an Oscar short film. Yeah, maybe tomorrow night, because I'll probably be live tomorrow night. Maybe. Let's see. H-Bart's here. It says, honestly, I told one of my friends anime creeps me out. No offense, but the people I've met in public that like anime are odd. And also I told them I just enjoy Japanese cinema, not anime. I mean, look, okay, here's the thing with that though, right? Like again, I've met some odd people that are into anime. Anime does, I mean, look, not everyone who watches anime is odd. I think H-Bart's, you interact with a lot of people here in this chat. You're here all the time. You're one of us and they're one of us. And you know what? They're normal, largely, right? I mean, I think to hang out here every night to listen to the shit I say, you got to be a little bit kind of weird. But again, it's kind of like, I think everyone here who recommends anime, to be honest with you, I think they do it from a place of purity. I don't think it's being done from like we will beat you down with this cudgel until you accept our ways. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that, dude. I do think that it's something that they're into, that they want to be positive about it. That's how I take that, But I get it though. Japanese cinema is really good too. It is really good too. Rational here says Matt will watch TMNT hentai. No. Listen, man, there's some stuff I just don't fuck with. All right. There's just some stuff I don't fuck with. I'm good without watching anime, without watching TMNT hentai. Crazy, dog. Crazy. All right. Where are we at now? Okay. So it is about, it's 12:20 a.m. my time. I'm going to go, guys. I'm going to go rest my voice a little bit, get some sleep. But that being said, I'm going to try to go see Shazam tomorrow night if possible. So I may be on afterward to talk about Shazam or to talk about like whatever. We'll see. I also have to go out doing delivery driving because it's Friday. It's a good night to make money. So I got bills and shit. Fucking mortgages. God damn it. Fucking paying money to the bank that I borrowed from. But I'll be back tomorrow night, guys. Thank you guys, everybody. Have yourself a great night. Please thumbs up the video if you haven't already and subscribe to Podio Commentary. Check it out. Help me get it to 1,000 subs. That's really helpful. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.